Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or are you just happy to see me?
Oh, we are finally at the end of this season 1 for Rings of Power, and boy, fucking hell, was it a slog to get through. Holy fuck. Season finale, and what I and others have pretty much been calling or saying that it smacks of this. This is what's going to be revealed. Essentially, are theories. We were fucking proven right. Now with Halbrand, we'll be getting into his character close to the end of this stream and episode. I said, and I'm on record in my streams as saying it could go either one of two ways. I would not be surprised if it was one of two ways, because I was seeing major hints for either one. One being, obviously, what he's revealed to be. And this is a spoiler review, so no bitching in the chat. He is Sauron. Even though that doesn't make sense anyway, whatsoever. He is Sauron. Alright? So I said, there was major clues. Forging. How he was able to fend off all those men easily. Subtle hints within his dialogue and so forth. All of those clues pointed towards Sauron. Okay, and I said, or the other thing, or could have been an in-name only version, essentially, of Aragorn, because of the claim that he was the lost king of the Southlands, which is pretty much bullshit. But I said, I wouldn't have put it past the showrunners because they were making shit up as they went along anyway, so I would not have been surprised. So I said it could go either way. And it went one of those two ways, and the big bad was fucking friend-zoned. And I will go into that. That's why he turns essentially evil, folks, is because he was friend-zoned. Jesus Christ. So, before I say hello to the chat and I bring up the final episode that we will be going through and so forth, because I'll be tearing this apart, I wanted to get one of those big cookies to snack on during the stream, because fuck it, I deserve some treats. They did not have any, so I don't know if people know what these are. These are called gobs. Alright, and I got red velvet ones to snack on. Pretty much. Was out with family earlier today. Went to a local convention. Hung out for a bit. Went to a restaurant. Gobs. They're called gobs. Yeah. Now, if you look it up, you might get another definition for them, depending on whom you talk to. Hint, lethal. But they're food. They're basically pastry food. And yes, I know this is not exactly hard alcohol, but I wanted to try it. So I got my alcohol here, salted caramel flavor. So I'm gonna try that as well. But anyway, I was going to have alcohol, and I was going to have a treat for myself, a treat. Right? So, but anyway, so yes, so we have a lot to break down in this episode. I'm going to be going through it relatively as quickly as humanly possible. But I also want to touch on, I'm going to go show you guys some maps of Middle Earth, because there was a theory going around of where the Harfoots were located, and it makes absolutely no fucking sense given where the location at the beginning of this episode takes place. But then again, the showrunners have no fucking concept of distance and scale. So, I'm gonna say hello to the chat, and also, and I will be touching on this throughout this stream. At the end of the episode, I will be going into an article that I nearly covered in a video, but I figured I'd save it for this stream, and that is what we can expect or dread for season 2 of Rings of Power. There's an article that came out, I think it was, the 14th, so it's just yesterday, the 14th, so it is very recent, and I saw some interesting things, that pissed me off, and one very interesting factoid that was mentioned in this article that I don't think too many people know about. But anyway, so first off, I see Trey says, "Hey Mara, thank fuck the nightmare is over. I'm ready for the destruction." Yeah. Yep. Well, I see your comments, Alton. I'll get to it shortly. Master Chief 117, hello, good to see you. Oh, speaking of, I was going to say that as much as given your name, Master Chief 117, John 117 from Halo, as much as the Halo series pissed me off, I felt like there was at least enough in there, not a lot, but enough in that show where it's like, oh, periodically you could say it felt like Halo. Nothing about this season at all fucking felt like Tolkien. Nothing at all. So I'm not defending what Paramount did with Halo, but in my own humble opinion, I think us Tolkien fans got it worse. But we'll see. That's just not my own humble opinion, right? Not defending, again, what Paramount did with Halo, because that's not Halo. They created their own timeline, which did not make any fucking sense, given the number of books and comics and games and so forth that had the literal blueprint they could have used. No, they had to do their own shit. Same thing with what Rings of Power is doing. They don't have the rights to the actual books, the actual works they should be adapting, because that's the whole point of adapting. You're adapting a work, not an appendix, not an appendix. All right? But anyway. So, hope you're enjoying your first Saturday off. Master Chief, I see your comments. Yes, this is my new live channel. Now that I'm finally the season end, I'll open my Fridays back up to working on my live channel as well as doing solo streams. So, thank fuck for that, I guess, pretty much. Yeah, the F-bombs will drop today, Cyberpal. Don't worry. Your Barmy says, "Hey, good to see you." Gravy D, I can honestly say that was the best episode of Rings of Power I've seen, because it was the only one I've seen. Yeah, well, count your blessings. Sultan, hello, good to see you. Yeah, Halbrand is Sauron, pretty much. Yeah, you found out what Bukaki meant as well. Let's see. Smack the like button. Thank you so much. Trap, good to see you. Yeah, there is something in that article. Yes, technically it is 2 years away from now, but it could conceivably be sooner. It could conceivably be sooner, according to the article, and I will be getting into that, pretty much. 6 years, 2 months, and 24 days sober. Well, congratulations, Master Chief. I will take a swig for you just because I respect. I don't know what the fuck happened. It just buffered. Now it's back. Alright, so it's going to fuck up my live stream. So sorry about that. But anyway, I'm going to take a swig for you, Master Chief. Woo! What? Yeah, Master Chief's butt. We got Master Chief's butt. And that Halo series. Thrones fans wanted to see your House of Dragons pretty good. The latest episode was amazing. Yeah. I think that series also plays fast and loose with the source material, but at the same time, it doesn't shit on it, from what I can tell. But I haven't watched the series, so I can't say for certain. But I'm just saying, everyone I've spoken to loves this show, loves House of the Dragon. So how HBO Max fucking pulled it off, and Amazon couldn't feel their way, it's like basically like a blind man trying to feel a woman's boobs, pretty much. They're trying to feel their way, but they're not. They can't figure out where north is and where south is. All right. To give you a message, hobbits on motorcycles. Yeah, pretty much. Yep. So 2 years, 7 months, 2 days. Thank you, Chris Mack. Good to see you. And hello, everyone. Thank you all for stopping by. I will get through this chat. And we'll be getting into this finale episode. I see Sentinel. Hello. Good to see you. Well, they introduced the unaging witch in the House of Dragon. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, Lenny Henry's death was hilarious. That is a moment that should have shed at least one tear. That should have shed at least one tear, because you should have been connecting with these characters throughout the 8 episodes, because Lord knows. Each episode was like a little over an hour long. About an hour long, pretty much. 8 hours that you should have connected with these characters. That's pretty much the length. If you include the credits and so forth, like, the little overage of the episodes with and everything, was like pretty much almost totaled the runtime for Fellowship and Two Towers. And by that point you're connecting with these characters. So how the hell did they not do that? How the hell did they mess that up? Hey Len, good to see you. Knife throw, he did. We didn't even see the body. He somehow pulled the knife out. Where the knife was, now granted, like, someone could technically survive that, but at the same time, it's like he would have been bleeding pretty fucking heavily. Not enough for him to, like, to do anything like what he did. Like, he would have been weak at the very. He would have been weak. Well, I mean, I didn't drink the booze, Dave. I see your comment. I didn't drink the booze while I was watching it. I just that finally went through it. But anyway, so I'm gonna bring up this stream, or the episode itself. Present, share screen, window. Okay. So this episode began with, like, pretty much a summary of all the events leading up to the finale episode. So I'm not gonna bother going through that. You've been coming to my live streams. You've watched my spoiler-free review, so you know everything that's transpired if you are watching this. Hey, Mike. The only characters I enjoyed the entire season so far were dwarves. The only characters that were remotely likable for me throughout this entire season, and that's just primarily based on the fact that the actors themselves did not feel like they were phoning in their performances or any stupid shit like that. And that was the actor who played Durin. Now, I do have some problems with how they depict his character, but Prince Durin, all right, I did like the actor. He, there were some scenes where it's like, like, I do like this character for the most part. And Elendil. Both those characters are in name only, but the actors pretty much did not, like I said, phone in their performances. I did feel for some of their scenes pretty much. I mean, not a lot. But those were the two. Elendil and Prince Durin. For me. Yeah. Pirate's Life for me, Sentinel. I was not paying for this. I was not giving Amazon any fucking clicks. But anyway. So before I even, like, get through this scene, I'm going to be pointing something out to you guys. Because it shows you how stupid the fucking media is and so forth, and also how stupid the show is, because given the proximity of the certain locations, there's no fucking way in this time span would, I believe, personally, we would get from one location to another. All right? So, I'm going to get through this. It opens this where we're finding the stranger where he is, pretty much, and we're like starts on that character, right? So the stranger, as I call, not Gandalf, and I'm pretty much fucking right. All right? So we start off finding him where he is. All right? Right off the fucking bat. All right? Right off the fucking bat. All right? Let me just play this so I can get, like, the other name for it so people can see it, right? The Greenwood. For those of you who don't really know the lore, Greenwood, right, is the name the elves gave this land, which became Mirkwood. All right, which became Mirkwood. Okay, remember, if you never really read the books or anything, you remember Mirkwood at least from the Hobbit trilogy. As mediocre as those movies were, all right, where we meet Thranduil, right? Okay, Mirkwood. Yeah, shouldn't there be trees? Yeah, there should be trees, right? Right off the fucking bat, Jules Verne, yes. Okay? So, like I said, I'm going to kind of stop right here, because right off the bat, I was like, wait a minute. Like, I was like, wait a minute. So okay? Stop sharing the screen, okay? Now, first, I'm going to share this article, okay? First, I'm going to share this article to give you the perspective of where the fucking murder hobbits went, okay? And it's also, if these media actually did their fucking research, they'd be like, oh wait, that can't be it, right? Because there was a theory going around right before the finale episode premiered, okay? So, I found this article Okay. Remember when I talked about the member berries with the Grey Havens? Okay. With the Grey Havens. Okay. This article touches on it back in September. Okay. So I'm going to kind of zoom in a little bit. Come on. Okay. The Grey Havens. Okay. The member berries. Back in September 25th. Right. So where the Harfoots start out from the original position in the Brown Lands, Snorri's family heads south, right, to the Undercliffs, which takes them to an area, like, as part of the trek is called the Grey Marshes. Not Grey Havens, Grey Marshes, sorry. Grey Marshes, the member berries, okay? Because you saw that trek. They show it on the map here, all right? Which soon become the Dead Marshes, okay? This part is where they're heading, and they have to be close to the Southlands, right? Because they saw the after effect somehow, some fucking how of Mount Doom, right? Some fucking how of Mount Doom where the murder hobbits are. Okay, I'm not going to go through this article, but I wanted to kind of give that as an overlay. Okay, give that as an overlay. Well, here, I'll show you. I'll show you because they weren't heading towards there based on the map. That's why it doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, all right, I'm going to show you. Okay, I'm going to show you a map. All right, one of the maps Middle Earth maps I have up. Okay, because the reason why I also want to bring up this map is because this rumor was floating around even up until right before the finale episode. Right? And it's like we got this covered in bullshit site postulating that did the stranger just create the Shire and Rings of Power? Now this is October 13th. Okay? This is October 13th. So postulated that, okay? Did the stranger, not Gandalf, create the Shire and Rings of Power? Okay? Alright? Now, I'm going to show you. Okay? I'm going to show you a map. I'm going to show you where the Shire is and how these showrunners and writers do not understand the fucking concept of distance and scale. Alright? Alright. Let me just share screen. Chrome tab. Okay. I'm going to show you this, okay? Now, you can't quite see this map. I apologize for that, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to move stuff over so you can kind of see it, right? Yeah. What? Oh, no. What? But see, that was like a theory that was going around. But here's where it doesn't make any sense. Okay? If they would just do any amount of research, they would know it. Okay, there's no way it could be the Shire. There's no way it could be the Shire based on where the murder hobbits are. Okay? So here's the Brown Lands. If you look over kind of to the left of that like big text on the right, Rovanion, all right? That's the Brown Lands, okay? I don't know if you can see. Okay, you can see my cursor. This is the Brown Lands. This is where they originated, the beginning of this season, okay? That's where that article said that they originated. This is the Brown Lands, okay? Then their trick takes them down through Emmenmuil, through the Dead Marshes, okay? Now, we don't know exactly where they end up necessarily, but given the fact that the last episode showed Sadek pointing this not Gandalf towards a big person settlement, and it looked like there was kind of like a mountain range there, my guess would be they're kind of in this area right here. Okay? That would just be my guess. I'm only fucking guessing because there was no clear path other than that, okay, where they ended up. So, okay, so somehow in this area right here, they felt the effects of Mount Doom, which is all the way over here. Okay? Again, not understanding the fucking concept of scale. Okay? But somehow, okay, because there was a mountain range that was like that angle right there. So they had to be down here. Yeah. And so he says, yeah, Emmenmuil. So I imagine that's where they went through that because they end up in the Dead Marshes. They went through the Dead Marshes in one of the episodes. Because I saw that, or I should say the Grey Marshes, because it was before they become the Dead Marshes, and I said, wait a fucking minute. And I pointed out one of my live streams. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Member berries. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's all about member berries, right? So this is where they would end up, okay? Down here. Down here. Based on that trajectory, they would end up down here, okay? So they're bordering, they're actually kind of like in what would become Gondor. Because we have no idea when this fucking show is supposed to take place, right? But they would be in the region which eventually becomes Gondor, okay? See this Mirkwood up here? That's Greenwood. So somehow, in a matter of several days, not Gandalf trekked all the way from around here, or maybe it was right here, I don't know, but all the way from around here, I'll say around here, okay, but around this region, okay, all the way up into here. All the way up into here. In a matter of several days. Walking. Not knowing who he is or what his powers or really are or anything. You know, he's hasn't even really spoken much English throughout this entire season, pretty much. That's the thing. That's the thing. But I'm showing you. I showed you right there. That's where this episode begins, in Greenwood. And yet they had been all the way down here. Had been all the way down here. And where's the Shire? Right here. So, like I said, if the idiots in the fucking media had bothered to do any amount of research, they'd be like, okay, that theory's out the window because the Shire's up here, and we are told from this article that the murder hobbits are down in this region. So, not Gandalf did not create the Shire. It took me all of 5 to 10 minutes search to find a clear map to show you guys. Because not all the maps are clear, and I wanted to find one that I could show you and you could read the text. Hey, Ms. Martin Muses. Good to see you. And I know I saw Fuck Norris up here. Hello, good to see you, Fuck Norris. Yeah. And John, so let's summarize these series. Everybody's stupid things happen, and all of this is Galadriel's fault. Yes, pretty much. That's pretty much sums up the entire season. Yeah. First Shire, yes, but what about the second Shire? Yes. Yes. All they had to do was Google. All they had to do was Google. And like they would have saved themselves the time writing that stupidity, that theory of like, did the stranger just create the Shire? Oh, because it has trees around it, so you automatically think it's the Shire? Oh, hello, Nighthawk. I hadn't even begun really going into this episode, and I like pointed out how like it doesn't make any fucking sense. Oh yeah, the movie references, Dave. I wrote them down. I'll show you, because like these aren't extensive notes. Where did I write it? Actually, not Gandalf. Okay, I wrote down Ishtar, but I know I wrote down member berries. Yes. First member berries was stranger than the foundations of the earth. And the second one was when not Gandalf says, when in doubt, always follow your nose. Those are the two I caught. But anyway, we got more feet puns. Yes, fucking hell. But anyway, there's just to give you perspective on how it does not make any fucking sense. How it does not make any fucking sense where the murder hobbits are, where not Gandalf ends up, and so forth. Per scale, there's no way he would have gotten that far just walking by himself. All right? Through all that to get to Greenwood. All right? It's what we call scale. We learn that at the very latest middle school. We learn that in like middle school at the very latest. We learn figuring out scale and like in regards to maps and that what the distance would be. Makes no absolute, and I haven't gotten into this episode. All right, let's get back to this shit. All right, so that's where we end. That's where it begins. Yep, wrong. What the fuck? Come on. Window. There it is. Fucking hell. Anyway. Here it is. Yeah, excellent. So the YouTube screen. But anyway. So he ends up in Greenwood, which becomes Mirkwood. Alright? In this episode, it becomes Greenwood. No Thranduil or anything. Right? It's just Memberberry's location at this point. It makes no sense how fast he got there. And it makes absolutely no sense the fact that we did not see Thranduil at all. Even though technically they would have the rights to use the in-name only version of that character, essentially, because they have the rights to the Third Age stuff, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Primarily The Hobbit, because that's when we see him in The Hobbit. But no Thranduil at all. Alright, so he makes it to Greenwood, okay? Makes it to Greenwood. Okay. Okay, loses the apple he was given. Thinks he's found Nori, which is like the creepiest fucking look ever on someone. Right out of the Children of the Corn. Seriously. But anyway, finds what he believes to be Nori. Nori Brandyfoot, which is like a... I don't think I touched on this during my other live streams, but basically it's just a member berries, essentially, for fucking hell, Meriadoc's character. Alright? They have a Brandyfoot. But anyway. So. Finds what he believes to be Nori. And it's Femme Shady. They found the most androgynous looking woman ever. Fucking ever. So he finds Femme Shady. Alright? Now, I know these aren't human. Alright? These aren't human. But... Can you, like, make her not look like Sinead O'Connor? Really? It's like basically the love child of Sinead O'Connor and Slim Shady at this point. It's right up there. It's right fucking up there. Yeah, Kill It With Fire. I hate this trio too. And this trio, I'll be going into it a bit later. They're stupid. They are stupid because we find it out later, but they find not Gandalf. Okay, I have no idea what their names are. One's called the Nomad, one's called the Dweller, whatever the fuck ever. Wait, hold on, let me put the subtitles on. Because this shit right here, whenever I started, won't keep the subtitles on. Alright, so this one here is speaking Kenya. Some fucking how. Even though they're... Like your cat ears, yeah. My favorite, everyone went to school with this kid, yeah. It does look like cat ears. But anyway. I don't know. But anyway, we've come to serve you. Hold on, I'm gonna have to play it a little bit. So, they believe not Gandalf is Sauron. And I'll be going into this more detail later on. We find out why they believe he's Lord Sauron, and that is because he fell from the sky. That's purely it. They cannot, they are so fucking stupid that they cannot tell, they cannot read them, because they're not human. They're not fucking human. They somehow cannot tell that there's nothing about him that screams Sauron. Nothing within him says Sauron. But they are fucking stupid. Hello. It's not Megatron. Yeah, that's what we find out. Like, how could you not sense anything at all about this man? Like, they're just going off the premises because this man, or I say man very loosely, but this being fell to Earth. So obviously he must be Sauron. Obviously he must be Sauron. Even though Sauron, per the actual lore, has been wandering the Second Age pretty much, and I'm using that phrase loosely, but wandering the Second Age in its entirety. He's been on Middle Earth, pretty much. As I pointed out in my last stream, right, or one of my last streams, the timeline would have had, Mount Doom was already in existence, and Sauron chose that location for the second Udun, the second hell, in Mordor, and began building his tower, Barad-dûr, in 1000, the year 1000. So he's been around for a ton long years, pretty much. And they think this is now Sauron? What the fuck? You should have known it's actually David Bowie, yes. I love this, the Spice Nas girls, yes. That's what they look, yeah. So, thank you. I'm not saying this to paint anyone as sexist or anything like that, because even I make women driver jokes and things like that, but way to continue perpetuating how stupid women can be, showrunners. Thank you. That these supernatural beings could not at all sense that, hey, maybe this guy's not Sauron, because we're not sensing evil in him. Really? Yes. Sauron. Just Sauron. Why do they have to stress the S's and the R's in the series? I have no fucking clue. But they have to go Sauron. It's like they're speaking, what's that, parcel tongue from Harry Potter. What? Sauron. Just say it. Sauron. Say it with me. Sauron. No stressing the S's. Hey, Corey, man, YouTube keep forgetting to let me know anyone. Yeah, the YouTube notifications are like shit. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. But anyway, it begins with, this is how the episode begins. There's really not much to say other than this is really fucking stupid. They really make these supernatural beings who are not human, who have supernatural powers and senses. They could not sense that this guy had no evil in him whatsoever. Or at the very least, it's like, hey, maybe a guy who just fucking fell to Earth might not be Sauron, who has been around long before that now. Just saying. Rabbit season, yes. But anyway, so there it is. So that's where this episode opens. And they kind of bow to him. Well, one's called the Dweller, one's called the Nomad. I don't fucking know what the third one is called, but this one on the right with the cat ears, and this one on the right with the Klingon-looking ridgeline fucking helmet. Or like that, like up. I'm not sure. I don't watch Star Trek, and I don't want to butcher anything, but that's what it looks like to me. They're the only ones that really talk in this entirety. They're the only ones who really talk. Okay, so yeah, Sauron is going to be walking around looking like he hasn't like he's walking around in what looks like something that has been washed in a month. Yeah, he's gonna be like looking like that. The Three Stooges, yeah, they're the three. Yeah, but Three Stooges are smarter. So, anyway, open up the credits, and here's like another reason why I was like, calling bullshits. Right? So it rides now. They're not in-name Galadriel only, and well, Halbrand is like keeling over. Okay, this is a Region. We're back in a Region. Okay, we come back to Celebrimbor in name only, talking with Elrond, and how like the dwarves have basically just told Elrond to fuck off. We're not going to mine the mithril for you guys, even though the mithril at this point in the timeline, again, but we have no idea when his fucking events are taking place because the timeline is all over the place. But at this point, the elves and dwarves have good relations. They've trading, and so not like goods and ideas and so forth. So they're like there's no real animosity between these two races. Elves and dwarves are working together, and this man in particular, Celebrimbor, is friend of the dwarves. It's where he learned how to become a master forger from the dwarves. All right, he was given a special name from the dwarves. All right, yeah, he's retarded. And the credits are boring. Yeah, they're also pyromaniacs. Yeah. Ladies of Rune, yes. Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, like, never saw those guys again. They were just used for, like, trailer and the shots leading up to like the premiere, pretty much. Oh, doesn't this look cool? Yeah, but like they make Celebrimbor stupid, particularly in this episode. Celebrimbor, per lore, is a master forger. All right, he did learn. Okay, gonna backtrack a little bit. Right, Sauron. God damn it, I'm talking like them. Sauron. Okay, did not disguise himself as a human. He disguised himself as an elf. All right, Anatar. Primary reason he did that, pretty fucking well, two reasons he did that, but the primary one is because the elves were the children of Iluvatar, okay? And what better way to stick the middle finger up to the god of Middle Earth than to disguise yourself as one of his children and basically from within bring down their race, essentially, in Middle Earth, all right? So what better way to do that? And two, it's easier for him to blend in amongst the elves. A human is going to fucking stand out. But he wanted to blend in, okay? And he taught Celebrimbor, so he kind of used Celebrimbor to begin creating the Rings of Power, right? Now I'm going to be going into this again near the end of the episode because of the fact that we see 3 of the Rings of Power in this episode, right? You see 3 of the Rings of Power. But Anatar did teach, essentially, Celebrimbor, right? But it got to a point when Celebrimbor did not trust Anatar at fucking all. Alright? He did not trust Anatar at all. So that'll be getting to... So I'm going to stop there. And I'll continue that little lore lesson. Alright? A bit later. But again, egregious lore breaking continues. Mithril they're treating Mithril like it's like a fucking lithium battery for elves in this show. When really, Mithril was just an ore. It was a beautiful ore. It was hard, so you could use it for its toughness as well as for its lightness, pretty much. And when I say lightness, I mean light as a feather, right? Okay, so it was... I'm going to be fucking clipped, but hard and light, right? Hence, the chainmail, the armor that Bilbo is given as a gift, and in turn passes it to Frodo, that mithril armor, that you could like wear, like, you know, it wasn't heavy, but it's like protected Frodo from that spear. All right, the mithril because it was pretty. They used it in jewelry and to decorate around doors and so forth. Right, it had nothing fucking ever whatsoever to do with the essence of the elves. The elves' lives weren't tied to this ore. But again, they went back to the book, right? Didn't the showrunner say they were going back to the book? Okay, and I have this. I mean, this is a book they could have fucking used. But they chose not to. I mean, I have it, so they should be able to fucking find it. Anyway. Only there to sound cool, yes. The dwarves are decent. They are decent. I do have problems with certain instances in how the dwarves are portrayed. However, of the two, the elves were fucking horrible. They really did the elves dirty in this season, and they're going to continue to do so. The elves were really treated dirty in this entire season. But anyway. Okay, so Elrond saying with the elves must prepare to abandon the shores. Galadriel arrives with a human. Okay. And hold on. She says, I'm going to try to get to that line. They've been riding for 6 days, nonstop, according to her. Okay, they've been riding for 6 days, nonstop. We rode without rest. 6 days. On the same fucking horses. How do those horses' hearts not give out? I know it's fantasy, but dear God, no rest, 6 days, those horses would have died. And that would have made me pissed off. I mean, hell, I don't even like watching, what's that movie name with the character Rooster Cogburn? But anyway, there's a scene where he ends up, like, he has to save the girl. There's, like, your John Wayne version, then there's, what's his name? Ah! Can't remember the actor's name. One of the bridges. But anyway, he wasn't riding for 6 days. He was riding for far less than that, and the horse's heart gave out because it can't handle that. 6 days? You please have at least some semblance of reality for this series, all right? I know it's Middle Earth, but 6 days, all right? And see, Halbrand's not riding; he was passed out. Yeah, he was passed. He would have fallen off his fucking horse. So how did they ride for 6 days with no rest, and he somehow passed out, stayed on the horse? Well, at some point, Elrond kind of did bring that up, but it's more or less like, yeah, he should be dead. He should be dead. Look at that wound. All right? Spear lance, enemy lance, 6 days. That is a chest wound. No, I don't know what they added to that, but 6 days would have put stress on that wound. No matter what the healers did back in the Southlands, no matter what the healers did, he would have been at the very least close to death. Not like that. Not where he's able to put his arms around someone and just go in like this. Yeah, 2 weeks straight, pretty much. True Grit. Actor's name was Tim. Yeah, okay, True Grit. I was like, Jeff Bridges, thank you. All right, there's a John Wayne, True Grit, and then there's Jeff Bridges one. But True Grit, all right. I don't like people who know me know I don't like to see anything like that happen to animals, even though I know it happens. But in that movie, he rode for less fucking time, because he had to get her back where she could be healed, and his horse's heart gave out. And I'm supposed to believe that they rode for 6 days. Halbrand's not dead, and those horses' hearts have not given out with no rest. Really? But anyway, yeah, and even then, realistically, everyone should be dead from the volcano. Well, at this point, we don't know. I mean, we were calling it from the beginning, but at this point, we don't know, because it could have gone either way, as I pointed out at the beginning of the stream. It could have gone either way. But realistically, at the very, well, I mean, we find out whom Halbrand is in this season, at the end of this season, all right? So realistically, everyone else but him should have died, all right? Everyone else but him should have died. Hey, Mr. Bentham, 2 times speed to catch up. What's up, Mr. Bentham? All right, so they arrive in Eregion. Okay, so they get to work healing him. King in the Southlands. How's it your paths cross with his? And this is where Elrond questions it pretty much. How is it that you are here? You're supposed to be in Valinor. We put you on a ship to go to heaven. And he's treating that rather calmly. And I'd be like, why the fuck are you even here? That's what I'd be asking him. Why? And again, she sounds like a villain in her explanation, essentially. She sounds like a villain, in a way, for when she explains it. Yeah, but somehow, she thinks he's king of the Southlands. Alright. And this is where Elrond goes, I never should have set you on that ship. I should have trusted you. It was a mistake I will not make again. Okay. Explain to me why he should have trusted Galadriel, because again, up until this point, just even though we know what the revelation is going to be with Halbrand, up until this point, all she's had to go on is, I believe Sauron is still out there. That's it. That's her only fucking proof. Is #believe all women. That's it. So why is he saying, I should have trusted you? What about, I almost knocked my gobs over. What about, and her reappearance has him even remotely saying, I should have trusted you? Nothing at all that's been happening other than the lore breaking with the Mithril and the essence of the elves and so forth, which has nothing to do whatsoever with Sauron. Why is he saying, what reason does he have to say he should have trusted Galadriel? Yeah, because he wasn't even the one that sent her off. It was Gil-galad, even though Gil-galad is younger than Galadriel, but Gil-galad looks like he's her uncle. Yeah. His mistake will not make again. No reason whatsoever. I saw the scene and it goes like, all right, we were 8 episodes in. All right, you have not. This is the first time you're seeing Galadriel since she was sent to heaven, pretty much within the first 2 episodes. First time you're fucking watching her or talking to her. Why are you saying you should have believed her? Yeah, pretty much. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's, oh my god. You know what? I gotta eat one of these because I'm fucking pissed off already. But no reason. No reason. But yet, hashtag believe all women because somehow she's right. Yeah, chills. Hey, gaming. But anyway, okay? Yeah. Pretty much. And the fact that the Morfydd Clark, the actress who plays Galadriel, is like 5'3", and Galadriel in the text is 6'4". So she's a full foot at least shorter than Lord Galadriel. Hey, Jared. No. I mean, I don't think you watched the Halo show. That was logically frustrating as well. But this is like, it's all over the place. It's all over the fucking place. And now you have the showrunners promising that the second season is going to be more canonical. And I have to ask, fucking how, when they don't have the rights to the actual canon? How are they going to be more canonical? They're already breaking it left and right, which is with just the timeline. So how are they going to be canonical? Thank you, Teresa. Yeah, Resident Evil as well. Literal shows. Okay, first off, this series should not have been made, especially when, if any Tolkien fan worth his or her weight would have said, I can't do anything with this because I don't have the rights to the actual works that I would need to adapt for the series because they want to set it in the Second Age, right? So I would be like, I can't do this. I can't do this. If they had any amount of integrity within them, which they don't, they would have said, I cannot do this because I cannot faithfully adapt the canon, the actual canon. Right? So we got this all over the place Mad Libs puzzle of a show. And now they're going to promise to be more canonical. Yeah, she would have been close. Literally an inch off, but hell, close, fucking close enough. Right? There are actresses out there that are tall enough, and even if they aren't quite 6'4", you have the practical camera effects that you could do. They did it in Fellowship of the Ring and so forth to differentiate the sizes of Gandalf and Frodo, Gandalf and Bilbo and so forth. So there's a possibility they could do that, but they chose a 5'3" actress to play Galadriel, and I'm supposed to expect that she has a growth spurt to 6'4" in the Third Age. Not even. Yeah, they could. Yeah, they could, but they wouldn't even need to do it. She's close enough. She's close enough in the height. It would have worked. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe, but anyway. I think at one point there was that speculation that they were thinking about doing it. But I don't know. Anyway, because they do have the rights to it. But for this series here, they couldn't touch anything that was already shown in Peter Jackson's movies or key events like The Last Alliance and so forth. So they're going to have to fucking explain how Galadriel, who's been hunting Sauron for centuries, doesn't end up in The Last Alliance leading any of the elves with the possibility of defeating Sauron once and for all. You're telling me that she's nowhere in battle when her whole point of existence at this point is bringing down Sauron. Really? I leapt from that ship. All right. Because I believed, in my heart, I was not yet worthy of it. Really? Really? You're gonna have us buy that she had humility then, when it was really, when it's literally set up that the reason why she doesn't want to go is because she believes Sauron's still out there and them sending her to heaven, right? Valinor. It's like her whole mindset at that point was continuing her brother's mission to take down Sauron. And that was, you're gonna believe that she, oh my god, I have bleed in my heart, I was not yet worthy. I'm not even fucking 8 minutes into this show. And I was like, dear Christ, you're expecting me to believe? And I see on the YouTube side, because memberships don't show up, but I see on the YouTube side, Master Chief gifted one membership to Corey. Thank you so much, Master Chief. Very much appreciated. And I will take another shot for you from my drink right here, because fucking hell, 8 minutes in, and I need it. Chicken fight orc, she's humble. Yes, Queen, yeah. She's humble. You're expecting me to believe that the reason why she jumped from that ship is because she felt she was not yet worthy of it? And what would make her worthy of it? What would make her worthy of it? Because you have in 2 episodes back, her threatening to commit ethnic genocide against the orcs. Would that make her worthy of it? Would that make her worthy of it? If she, somehow cleanses Middle-earth of the orcs? Or the Uruks, as they claim they like to be called? Thank you, Jeremiah. Very much appreciate it. Again, I very appreciate all of you being here. Very much appreciate all of you being here. And the interaction with the chat. The lance hit Halbrand when the volcano exploded because he was uninjured when it did. Somehow, yeah, because he was uninjured. But, let me take this back. She says he somehow, so he must have gotten injured when the orcs escaped, because she says that he was an enemy lance. That's how he was injured. So somehow he survived. He somehow survived the initial explosions from the earth from Mount Doom, but he got speared by an orc. Yeah. I need to get the clip from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where John Cleese is playing the French soldier, and he says, "No, not the French, no, not that scene. The other scene where the 2 guards are on the wall and they're talking to King Arthur and his servant, and they say, pull the other one. Pull the other," when Arthur says, "I'm a king," it's like, pull the other one. That's what I want. That's what I feel right now. 117, if for the Halo lore, that's Master Chief's designation number, John 117. That's why the 117 is there. Yeah. Yeah, she hasn't gotten laid in 1,000 years. Well, she says he's dead. According to her, that he's dead. But somehow he comes back in the Third Age. But anyway. So, yeah. Yeah, and they storm the Capitol, so it's okay, yeah. Lord Nemesis asks, is he having sexual relations with the dwarves? Yes. Pretty much, I don't know. But anyway. They're going to skip back forward. Alright, so somehow I got injured. Alright, so I did not cross that bitter ocean. And when I surfaced, all I could do was swim. Let me just go back. I knew somehow my task here was not yet complete. So, first off, then she goes off by saying that she felt like she wasn't yet worthy. I knew that somehow my task here was not yet complete. So, would that make her worthy? Would basically taking down Sauron Is that going to make her worthy of going? When really Gil-galad had no power whatsoever to bestow any voyage to Valinor as like a gift or anything like that. So that's not something that he would have done. That's something that he would have had to do, right? It's basically when the elves themselves chose that they were ready to leave Middle Earth and go to Valinor, all right? And she, in canon, Galadriel chose not to go because she, it's not because of anything like this or anything like that. She was penitent, all right? She was penitent, and she wanted to, how to put it this way, that was how she wanted to feel worthy, because like pride and so forth, because of not going into the extensiveness of the lore itself, but it had nothing to do with Sauron or anything like that. Okay, it had everything to do with her penitence. But here, it's all tied to somehow she felt that she wasn't worthy because it knew somehow her task here was not yet complete, because reasons. She does not know. She's claiming that Sauron is still out there, and we're again proven right by the end of the season. But anyway, she claims that Sauron is still out there, but she has no proof whatsoever. Everything she's shown as proof is centuries old. Is at least centuries old. But somehow she's right. Somehow believe all women, and she's proven right by the end of the season. All right, because I called it. I called it I called it near the beginning of the season. Like, you watch. It's going to be, you were right all along. We should have believed you, and it pretty much ended up like that. It's ending up like that. We should have believed you. You were right all along, with no proof whatsoever. All right. And I pray I had chosen when I surfaced, all I could do was swim. In the sundering seas, she somehow survived. Hey, Soul Assassin. Yeah, except for the place they last saw orcs. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you have it set up in the beginning of the season that there was in the Southlands, humans who worshipped Morgoth, where orcs would have likely been, but she goes north. What? Yeah, he should have left her there. Yeah, and lore, yes. The Valar said no task for her, but like for her task here is defeating Sauron, killing Sauron, removing him from Middle Earth, pretty much. That's her task throughout this entire season. And she takes that as it's like that somehow like the Valar are subconsciously telling her no, your task is not done here on Middle Earth. It's the writing is all is shit. Tis but a scratch, yes. Yeah. Yep, but anyway. Okay, I did not cross that bitter ocean. Hold on. Only to drown now, and I will not let you. Strong whammon, folks. Elrond, the commander of the an actual commander, serving under Gil-galad, military, elven armies, has to rely on #BelieveAllWomen. Yes, that was so lame. I believe all women. Yeah. Hey, Phil, good to see you. And Tim F, hello. All right, so they're talking. Okay, hold on. I think we can do. Hold on. I gotta play some of these lines. What do we do? The only thing we can do. Swim. What? What? The only thing we can do. Swim. Yeah, I got that line. Swim. Patriarchy defeated. Patriarchy defeated. Yeah. I'd be like, what? See, you're asking the questions that these showrunners, if they had any integrity, would have said, I can't adapt that because we don't have the actual rights to the work, so we're not actually depicting any canon. And I'll be getting to those I'll be getting to the Astari. Alright? Yeah, now she's soft-spoken off her own wisdom, yeah. She's pretty much a villain throughout just about the entirety of this first season, and now she's offering wisdom. Yeah, like, which is the stupidest wisdom. I'd be like, what? That's what I've been like, what? Like, what? I wonder how he feels now. But, like, don't fuck this up. Anyway, so Halbrand finds Celebrimbor. Okay. Matter of fact, he is. Okay. And somehow Halbrand has heard of Celebrimbor because, again, the reveal has not happened about who Halbrand actually is. So you have to wonder how the fuck he knows about Celebrimbor. And he says, like, hold on. The master I apprenticed to. See, like, it's dropped, like, hints are dropped in the dialogue. So I'm like, like, hold on, let me make sure my notes. Let me see, like, where. Make sure I'm remembering this correctly. Alright, it's in this scene, alright? So there's hints that were dropped in this scene. More hints that were dropped in this scene. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I'm saying, like, well, they changed Sauron's, character, essentially, in this season. So, Master Apprentice 2, you speak of the wonders of your crafts. You smith. So, hold on. Well, nothing like your artistry. And then he's like, entranced by the gemstones. Alright? Feanor's jewel craft. Okay, I'm skipping through some dialogue. Alright, now, when I say I don't exactly mind, yes, the revelation is Halbrand is Sauron. Now, when I say I don't exactly mind, is because Anantar in the lore did teach Celebrimbor. Now, the Celebrimbor was a master forger, but Anantar did impart on him some teachings of sorts, pretty much. Alright? When he was like, when the rings of power were being created and so forth. So, and it got to a point where Celebrimbor did not trust him at all. Well, okay? Not trust him at all. So I don't exactly mind. I use that very, very loosely. Halbrand teaching him. However, they still make Celebrimbor stupid in this episode because, again, Celebrimbor is a master forger. Alright? He should have been figuring this out up to this point already. And just needed that little push. Maybe a little bit push over. That's it. But Celebrimbor would have been figuring this out. He would have been figuring this out because he was instrumental in forging the ring, like, not the One Ring, but the Rings of Power. Okay? Alright? 19 Rings of Power for the 3 elves, the 7 dwarf lords, and the 9 for the race of men. Okay? He would have been figuring this out. That's where I have a problem with this. Like, I don't necessarily have a problem with Halbrand imparting on him a little bit more. Alright? Like, in helping that way, like, teaching him in a little sense, but it's like a light bulb goes off in Celebrimbor's head at this point. Like, oh, No, he would have been figuring it out. He would have been figuring it out. All fucking ready. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm like, this is going through a spoiler review. So like I said, like they did Celebrimbor dirty. They take away his title, Friend of the Dwarves. Right? They take away his title, Friend of the Dwarves, and they make him borderline stupid. Well, it's even that they don't even answer that question. They don't even answer that question because early in the season, it was all about we need to build this forge and we need to build it soon, which you would expect because for it to be a major task. And we find out that, the lore breaking with the mithril, so you figure to be tied to that, but at the same time, it's like, this is not exactly a major forge. So, like, this is supposed to be a monumental task, but anyway. So Halbrand offers their heavy thought about combining with other ores to stretch it out. Because the amounts we need. So where I came up, all right. See again, he's dropping hints. Where I came up, precious metals were scarce as hen's teeth. So we learned to combine them. Added to iron to make a blade lighter and stronger. And here's the other. When Calbrimore says it's an intriguing suggestion, Halbrand says, oh, let me get to that line. Call it. So I was like, oh, okay. For me, that line right there for me is like, he's Sauron. He's Sauron. Yeah, he doesn't even look at a woman in the show. And I know per the lore, he, I believe, was in love with Galadriel. Like, we know that she obviously marries Celeborn. Like, she and Celeborn were, like, mad, like, in love. But I think Celebrimbor, like, harbored he was in love with her. Like, it was like an unrequited type love, but he was in love with her. And he hasn't even looked at in her direction this whole season. Yeah, just bathed in its light, yeah. So I'm saying it's like, never hurts, yeah, so. None of this makes sense, and they practically making Halbrand the Antichrist, yeah. Like, Prince Durin and Elendil, of all the characters in this season, were the ones that I found remotely likable. So, yeah. Yeah, Herder, yes. That's what I felt like. Like I said, Celebrimbor would have begun figuring it out. He might not have had it all figured out, but again, I can't stress this, beat this dead horse enough. Master Forger, and he was wise. All right, he was wise. Okay, like you really could not, like even though he couldn't put his finger on who Anantar actually was, he did not trust Anantar. All right. He did not trust Anantar, which is what name that Sauron went under when he was disguising himself and getting these rings of power created. All right? Or at least started. All right? He did not trust Anantar, so he is not stupid. He is not stupid. He is also a fighter. All right? He actually defended Eregion. He died doing it horribly. But he was a fighter. Does this guy here, throughout the entirety of this season, how I just described Celebrimbor, does this man at all come across as that? Oh God, no, Jules. I'm getting to a point where I'm not going to exactly say it, but I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, fuck you, I was right. Fuck you, I was right. I called it. I was calling it. Tooth Arzer says, Celebrimbor should be depicted as an absolute Chad because that's what he was, yes. That's what he fucking was. Yeah, pretty much. The only elf woman we see is Galadriel because member berries, pretty much. Like I don't mind that she was picked as like the protagonist, but she's in she's in name only, literally Galadriel. She's not Galadriel from the lore. But again, Master Forger, right? Fighter, and wise. As Tooth Harvester said, he was an absolute fucking Chad. He was an absolute fucking Chad in the lore. And they turned him into like he's out of an 80s sitcom, a comedy sitcom. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he looks like he never forged anything, but he's supposed to be the master forger. He's like friend of the dwarves. The actual friend of the dwarves, not Elrond. Alright, so alright, this is like this scene I'm gonna kind of basically skip over. Right, because we know that Tar Palantir is on his deathbed. Arthur is on his requesting that force from a tomb, and he's brought into like this room, like those who are part of the Builders Guild draftsmen to sketch what his I guess effigy, for one better way of putting it, statue will look like. All right, so this is it. Yeah. So again, I don't know why our Farazan would do this. And I don't know, I don't know why she's there, because they're part of the Builders Guild. So why? But they have to have Isildur's non-canonical sister in this scene, so she does something. And somehow Tar Palantir, in his delusional state, right, thinks it's Muriel. Okay, so he can't differentiate skin color. So he thinks that she's Muriel, and wants her to look in the Palantir. Okay, then it's here, pretty much. But yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she's done nothing in this entire show, in this entire season. Like, what has she done? What is she, like? What really has she contributed to the plot? First off, the "It's my life, Dad" does not make any fucking sense between Isildur and Elendil. But as far as having a sibling goes, they could have had Anarion, because that's Isildur's actual brother. No sister, brother, Anarion. But they drop Anarion's name, so we believe I guess he's alive, we don't fucking know, and they add a non-canonical sister. For why? Reasons, I guess, because they needed to add a feminine touch, and if you think about it, the only real female characters they've shown are, if you exclude all the kind of extras amongst the murder hobbits and so forth, and like extras amongst the dwarves and elves, are in name only Galadriel, non-canonical, all right, Isildur's sister, Disa, and the single mama healer, all right, and pretty much Nori. Those are like main characters, right? Then you have Elendil, a name only, Isildur, a name only, Celebrimbor, a name only, Elrond, Gil-galad. Okay, so we're already at 5. We're already at 5. Okay. Durin, King Durin, Prince Durin, Hood Elf. Let's see. Maybe include Finrod, because he's a motivating factor for Galadriel. Ar-Pharazôn. I mean, I'm not even including all like the supporting cast, like Nori's friend and so forth. I'm not even including those. I'm already like double. So where's the balance? They're all about inserting certain characters, because it's some sort of like balance reparations for how many white people are depicted on screen, or men, or so forth. But already, even not including the supporting characters, Halbrand, Levin, they're like the male characters double that of the females. How is that at all balanced? And she's useless. She's added nothing. So if you move her, they're almost triple. Then look at any depth. Yeah. So this is like the end of the scene. Okay. So Gil-galad has reached Eregion, and Celebrimbor's discussing how they will be crafting, right? Crafting the mithril into an object that would hold the essence of what the elves need. And I somehow come up with a crown, allowing the light to arc back upon itself in one unbroken round. So it's like, you knew from this why they even set this up. I don't know, because your show is literally called The Rings of Power. So why didn't they just go with skipping this whole premise of like, let's put it in a crown and just give it to one fucking elf, so forth, pretty much. Why didn't they just say rings? I mean, that's the premise. That's the entire fucking premise of this series, is the Rings of Power, right? So they had to go through all this. As Trey points out, pseudo setup. We can make you a crown that shoots lasers, yeah. Sauron, Galadriel, Simp, yeah. All the women are 3 times better, so it works out, yeah. Yeah, I'm saying, like, how's one crown help the entire elven population fight elf cancer? That's why I said, like, this whole changing of the canon regarding mithril makes absolutely no fucking sense. Especially now that they have the setup that the dwarves are pretty much telling them to fuck off. Even though at this point in the timeline, the elves and dwarves do have good relations, so they're not, there's no real animosity between them, but they have the animosity there because for plot and so forth. Even though it makes absolutely no sense. There would be no power in the crown. He'd basically be like, one person would be holding it, and he's going to save the entire elven race? When you have elves in Lindon, elves in Region, elves in Greenwood, Lothlorien? Well, that's where Galadriel should be, I believe, at this point. I don't know. It's all over the place. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I'm saying I'll be getting there. It's all over the place. Like, the elves aren't just in one place, so it's not like they can like just huddle around Gil-galad and like kind of like a kumbaya, recharging their battery session. All right, it wouldn't. This makes absolutely no sense. Okay. Sometimes, yeah, Galadriel's like trying to offer words of wisdom. Like, sometimes the perilous path is the only path. I would not be standing here otherwise. And Gil-galad says, you should not be standing here at all. Again, he would not have the power to like grant her any passage to Valinor. Like, he wouldn't have to, really. It's not up to him. It's not up to him when the elves go to Valinor. All right, it would have been Galadriel's choice from the get-go. It wouldn't be a gift bestowed upon her, pretty much, or the other elves. Yeah, I'll give him that. Needed. Okay, so Gil-galad basically puts the kibosh on it at this point, pretty much. Pretty much, like, puts the like kibosh on it, saying like, like, we don't have time. We don't have the. So he orders basically the disbanding of the cities. He also like prepare basically to go to Valinor, leave Middle Earth. Okay, hold on. And there's a line here. See, this is like, again, like I said, I don't exactly mind, but at the same time, it's like they condense the timeline so fucking much. All right, they condense the timeline so fucking much that Celebrimbor is claiming in this scene that he would have had it sooner. Hold on, where is it? But I almost had it sooner. They almost had it sooner. And just the Southlander suggestions that were like the key to unlock the dam. But we saw none of that. We saw none of that this entire season. So we're basically just what's he been doing? You said like he claims he would have had it sooner, but we've seen nothing like that. Nothing that showed him poring over the mithril, testing, retesting, anything so forth to harness, again, lore-breaking power, and so forth. We saw none of that. We saw none of that. I'm rooting for Sauron at this point. I'm rooting for Sauron at this point. Probably. He was just waiting, yeah. But we saw none of that. What would he test? He only had like 5 grams of mithril. Yeah, what I'm saying is like he said he would have had it sooner, but he only had that little piece of ore, like this big. We saw him doing nothing with it. Now we're finally back to him. And he's claiming he would have had it sooner. And we're supposed to basically just take him at face value that all he needed was the Southlander to come in and go, hey, have you tried adding alloys to it? Yeah, pretty much. His suggestions were, but the key that unlocked the dam, we saw none of that. Not of the flesh, but over the flesh. Now, this was the line that, again, we did not see, but this is what tips Galadriel off, that maybe she was a fucking stupid the entirety of the season in assuming that Sauron was the king of the Southlands. Because he's saying this line, not of the flesh, but over the flesh. So this somehow tips off Galadriel, right? So it tips her off. This is a power of the unseen world. All right? Wouldn't that have tipped off Celebrimbor as well? Now remember what I said, that Celebrimbor did not trust Annatar? He did not trust him at all. And I'll be getting into further detail about that. You know, the crafting of the Rings of Power. He did not trust Annatar at all. So you're telling me that he just like, heard her, just accepted what this Southlander said, that these things right here, that's tipping off Galadriel, is not tipping off Celebrimbor, who is just as wise as Galadriel. Will melt in liquid gold and silver, but not alone. Yeah, somehow not alone. Somehow not alone. Like, that tips her off, but Celebrimbor's did not at all once go, hold up. Power over flesh. Power of the unseen world. Who could that fucking allude to? Weird, Adar said those exact words. Wonder if I should be concerned. And even with Celebrimbor not having any interaction with Adar, those words should have been, whoa. Back up. Back up. What? That's what I would have been like. What? Back up. What? But they make him stupid. That's what I said. That's my problem with him in this episode. They made him stupid. They made him almost bumbling in a sense in that regard. Yeah, blame Galadriel. Yeah. She's pretty much to blame, and we'll get into that. Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. Yes. But But that would have given him pause. That would have given him pause. Right? So, hold on. Let me see if there's anything in here that I could read. Press Celebrimbor. Right? Celebrimbor, okay? Just show you what I'm reading. Elven king of Eregion. Born during the ages of starlight, Celebrimbor was a Noldor prince, the son of Carufin, and the grandson of Feanor, who created the Cimmerals. Okay, and like he alludes to Feanor in the season, but makes no mention of the fact that he's the grandson of the man or the elf that Galadriel despises. Right? But I mean that's she and Celebrimbor had good relations, but Galadriel despises Feanor because he was a bastard. Right? He fought in the War of the Jewels and the War of Wrath. He was, like I said, he was a fighter. He was a fighter. Yeah, and he's also younger than Galadriel. All right? I mean, he's also younger than Galadriel. In 750 of the Second Age, he founded the realm of the Gwaith-e Myrdain, the Elven Smiths. The Elven Smiths. He founded the Elven Smith, the Forgers. He's a forger. From the dwarves, he obtained mithril and many other precious metals and forged the finest weapons and jewelry of the age. Alright? Nothing at all fucking to do with the elves' essence or anything like that. But, like Feanor, Celebrimbor always sought to create something better and greater than any before him. It was his elven smiths who forged the rings of power, right? This was his downfall, for he did not know that the fair stranger called Annatar, who aided in the forging of the rings, was none other than Sauron the Dark Lord. Okay? Yeah? It did not say there that Celebrimbor did not trust Annatar. Did not trust Annatar. But that I just read, I didn't finish that. Right? Okay, I did not finish the rest of that, but what I just read there, does this scream that? Yeah. The big question is, what is the motive of Sauron to create rings of power? Right? He wanted to control people. But the Elven Rings, Celebrimbor created in secret, if I remember correctly. He created in secret because he did not trust Annatar. He did not trust the reasons Annatar had in forging these rings. Alright? Oh, I'm going to be going into those. I'll be going into those. Yeah, they look, I saw those and those. I was like, those look like fucking horror. They look like ring pops. At least they look like borderline ring pops. So according to the show, he wouldn't even know how to make steel. Yeah. But like I said, at the same time, from the dwarves, he obtained mithril. So he's a friend of the dwarves. Fighter. Wise. Right? Elven king. He's actually the king of Eregion. Does he come across as any of that? I'm saying, like, all they would have had to do, alright, even without the rights of the Second Age, which, again, should not have been adapted fucking period, but all they would have had to do is find this. I've had this for years, and if I can fucking find it, so can these assholes. Yeah. Seth must have come up for the Rings of Power. Yeah, I'm saying, like, they kind of, like, come across as that. And I'm going to be bringing up the scene at the beginning of Fellowship of the Ring so you can see what the rings actually look like. Again, they can't exactly... If they're going to connect anything to the Lord of the Rings at this point, the rings should have looked a lot fucking closer to how the rings were looked in the Fellowship of the Ring. You see them. You see them because the elves put their hands close together, and you see their hands first. You see the rings. So no one connected to this fucking show bothered to even watch that scene. And I'm going to bring it up when we get to the point where they show the rings. I'm going to be getting to that point. So I saw the rings in this show, and I was like, those look fucking nothing like what we saw in Fellowship of the Ring. And this, the Silmarillion, and the second age history, Silmarillion, unfinished tales, and the history of Middle Earth, and so forth, right? Whether directly or indirectly, is a prequel to the events in the Third Age. And what's set up, we see depicted on screen in the Third Age, like the Elven Rings of Power, like the Elven Rings, should have looked the same fucking way in this show as they did in the movie. But they couldn't even bother to do that. Peter Jackson adaptation of the Tolkien Dictionary, yeah. Back to the book. They kept saying, go back to the book. What book? Right? I'm picking up a book in each of my streams, which nukes everything in this fucking series. But anyway. So Gilgalad says no. Orders to disband the city. You know, elves are leaving Middle Earth, pretty much. Yes, look at it. Like, he's like a bumbling grandfather here. Like, I believe those are my words. What? Like, make him confused. Like, she asks him. Those words of power over flesh. Where did you hear them? He's like, I believe those are my words. Hey, Hassan. I believe those are my words. I'm like, oh god. They make him into like a bumbling grandfather. I was conferring with my smiths, I think those are my words. Was Halbrand with you? What does it matter? It's over. And that's okay. Alright, I'm gonna skip this scene. Oh, here's another one. Where it's a member berries line, in a way. The dropping of a fool's hope. Remember the line from Gandalf in Return of the King? Where it's like, just a fool's hope? There's another member berries line that I kind of forgot to mention. Member berries. Fool's hope. Hey, Timon. It sounds like Biden, yeah. Let me... You remember? Oh, yeah, trade members. Mr. Bentham members. Oh, so we got the words from Halbrand. I missed that. I just thought Celebrimbor was just saying them for no reason. Well, see, I'm saying, we don't see it. So, and Galadriel picks up on that because Adar said the same thing. So she's like, now, now she's suspects Halbrand. Up until this point, given the amount of time that Galadriel has spent with Halbrand, and given how powerful Galadriel is and how she can read people, remember in Fellowship of the Ring when they make it to Lothlorien? Right? You have the Fellowship standing before Celeborn and Galadriel, and Celeborn asks, where's Gandalf? Because there's 8 and there's 9 that left Rivendell. And Galadriel reads the group. Even before any of them have a chance to answer, she reads and says, he has fallen into shadow. She reads them. Alright? She reads their minds. She reads within their hearts. And so forth. And you're telling me, in the amount of time she has spent alongside whom we find out the end of this season is Sauron. You're telling me she couldn't read a fucking thing of that character? And yet somehow she starts putting 2 and 2 together here? Yeah, you can't hide anything from the real Galadriel. You can't hide anything from her. She read the Fellowship. You even saw her. Like, she was even reading into Boromir's heart. Remember, the scene, she's, looking at the group, and Boromir is, just, trembling, and so forth, and, he averts his eyes from her, because she was reading into him? So she would have known that there was something about this man that she could not trust. She would have read him. He wouldn't be able to hide anything from her. He wouldn't have been able to hide anything from her. Oh, the fucking shippers are already shipping them. Sariel. According to Stieg, who messaged me, like the shippers are already shipping them. Sariel. Yeah. Yep. If she couldn't read him, that would have been a red flag. Or yeah, at the very least, it would have been a red flag. Then like, there's something about him like I can't trust. Yeah. Sama, when you're alone. Yeah. So here, right here. I even read here. I'll read the thing in Celebrimbor. Again. Because again, it's Annatar and disguised as an elf. Okay, part of the section from Celebrimbor, right, that I read from the Tolkien dictionary. This was his downfall, for he did not know that the fair stranger called Annatar, who aided in the forging of the rings, was none other than Sauron the Dark Lord. Right? Alright? And Sauron, or as they put it, Sauron. Alright? Get to the part in here where he is disguised. In 1500, he seduced the elven smiths of Ergion into forging the Rings of Power. Then he made himself the Lord of the Rings by forging the One Ring. So he reveals himself in 1600. Right? So they're having his reveal right now. But we have no idea where the fuck this timeline is taking place. So he was Annatar. Fair Annatar. Elf. Because Sauron in here was disguised as a human. Halbrand. Which would have been the first fucking tip-off. Yeah, second age only lasts about a month, yeah. I know he is Annatar, but I'm saying it's like the timeline is all over the place. The timeline's all over the place. So he is Annatar, but at the same time, it's like, why couldn't they? Yeah. They're Cobra Commander now, yeah. Alright, so. Well, I guess. But anyway. So Elrond convinces him to let them test it, begin figuring this out. Right, they start. So that's the scene. And Galadriel's watching Halbrand. So she goes to this, again, where are the fucking barbers in Middle-earth? I don't know. But she's like, I need royal lineages, bloodlines, anything you can find on the Southlands. Yeah, now finally, she's at least trying to fucking verify who Halbrand actually is. Up until this point, she's the one who came to the conclusion that he was the rightful king of the Southlands. She came to that conclusion. All Halbrand had to do was be like, yeah. She was the one who came to that conclusion. She's the one who began believing it first. She's the one who convinced Muriel, because he was the rightful king of the Southlands, to leave Numenor and go to Middle-earth, when in fact, if I were Muriel, I'd be like, why should I care about some bumfuck area in the middle of nowhere? What does the Southlands have anything to do? Why? How they even knew to go this, how they even know to go to that specific area, at least that village, I have no idea. Because the Southlands is not small. It's not a small area. But she's up until this point, it's been Galadriel believing it. Galadriel coming to that conclusion. Galadriel. And all Halbrand had to do was be like, yeah. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Yep. I'm the king of the Southlands. Yep. Awkward drink. But yeah. Yes, fuck that Sirach, yeah. I at least know that from Star Trek, Sirach. But anyway, now she's finally thinking, there's something about this guy I don't trust. Something about this guy I don't trust, even though real Galadriel would have read him like a fucking book. Now she needs the local librarian to pull out the lineages for the Southlanders. Now she needs that. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I believe it. Hold on, I'm gonna get to the line. Someone like me. See, there's like, again, dropping hints in the dialogue. Someone like me here. Someone like me here. Working with the Elven Smiths of Eregion. Sauron wouldn't be going like that. He wouldn't be good. Someone like me here. I need you folks to remember that Galadriel would sense evil in the place where Sauron was, but not when Sauron literally touches her. Yes. That too. She could sense evil in the place. But she can't sense evil when Sauron is right fucking there. Oh my god, that profile picture. Fun fact. Actual fun fact. Samwise means half-wise. But Sam is the Chad of the Lord of the Rings. Right? But Sauron is right fucking there, and she can't sense evil. She couldn't sense evil on the raft. She couldn't sense evil in Numenor when they were fighting the Southlands. Here? You're telling me that she couldn't sense it at all, but she could sense it in a fucking place, northernmost territory, and so forth? She could sense it there? Nowhere. No, I'm not dissing him, Dave. I'm not dissing him. I'm just saying, fun fact, that's what his name means. That's what his name means. But he's the real hero of Lord of the Rings because Frodo would not have made it to Mordor without Sam. I'm just saying, fun fact, that's what his name means. But he's the Chad of the trilogy. If Samwise weren't there, Frodo would have failed well before Mordor. I'm just saying, fun fact, that's what his name means. Because she is evil? I'm assuming that's what that meant? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, he is the Giga Chad. He's a Giga Chad. Like I said, if he weren't there, Frodo would have failed. Well before Mordor. If Sam weren't there, Frodo would have failed. For bringing you here. Hold on. For saving my life. How did she save his life? I don't know how she saved his life. Ah, yeah. But you believed in me. You saw strength in me. You pushed me to heights. And I'll see to that no one. So this. Hold on, let's take this back. You pushed me to heights that no one else could have. I will never forget that. To no one else does either. Yeah, big fucking hint right there. I like this. Sauron is like the remote control. You search all over the place and do not see it until you realize you're sitting on it. Yeah. Yeah, the wind beneath Sauron's wings. Yeah. If you weren't clued in by now, here's a big fucking hint. All right. Again, they made these beings stupid. All right. The more your powers awaken, the more the veil will weaken. So, like, they're thinking that he just doesn't remember he's Sauron. They think he is. They think that he just doesn't remember being Sauron. Really? Sauron would forget who he was when he is in fact, according, like, as Dave points out, described as malice and evil second only to Morgoth because he serves him. But after Morgoth fell, he is basically evil incarnate. He would fucking forget that? Thank you for the $5 super chats. Halfway. Thank you for being an honest voice, Mara. You are welcome. I'm just cutting through the bullshit with this series, pretty much. And like I said at the beginning of this live stream, I'll be going into an article a little bit of what to expect with season 2, as well as something interesting I read in the article from yesterday. So there's that. Anyway, when they would at least, even if he was disguised, they would be able to sense that about him, right? You'd think they would be able to sense that about him. And what, you're telling me that they couldn't sense anything in this guy? That they couldn't sense, hey, like, maybe we're wrong here? Like, maybe, because this guy does not smack of evil incarnate. They're supposed to be wise. They're powerful. They're supposed to be wise, right? They make them a gamer word. I'll be getting into that soul. They better not, because that would be egregious lore breaking right there. And I'll be getting into this shortly. Well, at least at the end of the stream, when I'm going over that article. By those who cast you down. Okay. The one placed upon your mind by those who cast you down. Sauron has been cast down for a long fucking time. Female tuition has Chris must have missed the memo. Yeah. I need to get the clip from Office Space. One of the clips goes, "Did you get that memo?" That's what I feel like. That's what I feel like with this scene. Did you get that memo? He's been wandering Middle Earth for a long fucking time. This is a dude that's just been cast down recently. And they think he's Sauron. Yeah, pretty fucking much. Pretty much. I like this. She's teaching Sauron about systemic oppression, yes. The Nazgûls are the precursor to the Nazgûl. They are proto-Nazgûl the way Harfoots are proto-hobbits. As in, not at all really, yes. Yeah. But, again, actual lore is Sauron's already there. He's not just been cast down recently. He's already there. He started setting up the second Udun in Mordor, around Mount Doom, in the year 1000 of the Second Age. So he's been there. Yeah. Alright? But like I'm saying, he was already there. He wasn't just cast down recently, but they make them hard R gamer, like the hard R of the gamer word, pretty much. We have come to welcome you in, to bring you to our lands. You know them already. Okay, they called it the Hermit's Hat. The Hermit's Hat, as I said before, bears a striking resemblance to the symbol of Gandalf. All right, because Gandalf, in his description, is inspired by how Odin in Norse mythology was described as an old man, a hermit, dressed in gray. All right, so Gandalf's description was inspired by how Odin was described when he would disguise himself as a human on Earth. All right. So them calling it the Hermit's Hat, pretty on the fucking nose. I'm saying they make them incredibly stupid. They make them incredibly stupid. All right? But Hermit's been saying. Okay, a little bit of lore surrounding Gandalf, at least in terms of the inspiration for Gandalf, all right? Yeah, old long-bearded hermit with the spear. Got combined with Merlin, there you have Gandalf, yes. But in terms of the description, from what I remember reading about Tolkien, some of the inspiration came from how Odin was described in Norse mythology when he would disguise himself as like a hermit dressed in gray. Right? So, pretty on the fucking nose. Pretty on the fucking nose. Yeah, pretty much. Your pattern visible in but one place, far to the east where the stars are strange. The land of Rune. Land of Rune? Alright. I guess they guess there must be a lot of inbreeding there because they are so fucking stupid. Anyway. Where you'll be known at last for who you truly are. Like, yep. The constellation is just a top hat, yeah. But again, they're just going off the base. They're just going off the fact that this guy fell to Earth from the stars. That's it. That's all they're going off of. So you have Galadriel being not unable to read Halbrand, and you have these fucking supernatural beings unable to read this man and his, like, maybe you'd think that they'd be able to read no evil incarnate in him. Yeah, that's another thing. Speak Kenyan to the stranger. So why not? Yeah, why not black speech? Why not black speech? They're calling him Sauron, right? They're calling him Sauron. Yeah, someone performed a lobotomy on them. Yeah. Are they not noticing his lack of reaction? Yeah. They're basically like, oh, the veil will lift. Again, no veil for Sauron. Nothing. He's been wandering Middle Earth for thousands of years. He's already fucking there. But someone fell from the stars, so it must be Sauron. That must mean he was cast out. Cast out of fucking where? He's already been cast out. So where the fuck would he have been cast out again? Yeah. Right? Okay, I'm just gonna skip through this because they're stupid, basically. So they say to bind him, and now we have the murder hobbits back. Okay? So somehow they also made it all the way here, despite the fact that not Gandalf had a head start. Had at least a day's head start, mind you. They catch up to him. Yep. Anyone think Amazon is so stupid that they will make a Dard to be Celeborn, that Mithril will heal him? Stupid theory, but I wouldn't put it past them either. I would not put it past them either. Because they have the premise now that Celeborn is dead, but we know Celeborn is not dead because he's obviously alive in the Third Age, because he was shown in the Fellowship of the Ring and so forth, like near the end of the trilogy as well, as far as the movies go. So he's alive. So he has to be out there somewhere, and I would not put it past him for a Dar, because he still looks like an elf. He's scarred, but he still looks like an elf. That it's going to be a surprise, subverting your expectations. It's Celeborn, and the Mithril healed him. Maybe some of the Eternals, maybe. Anyway, murder hobbits show up. Right? I almost made this. Well, this was too dark. Otherwise, I would have made this the thumbnail. Alright, but they're watching this. Alright, here's what I thought was stupid. Alright? Alright. Marigold starts mimicking a bird hooting. Right? A bird call. Right? She mimics a bird call. Now, I'm going to posit this to the chat. What would cause you to be suspicious about sound? Would it be a bird call in a fucking forest, even at night? Because there are birds that come out at night. Owls, for example, and so forth. All right? Let's assume that there's the same thing kind of like that in Middle-earth. All right? So would you go investigate a bird hooting? Or would you maybe investigate some suspicious noise like someone's footsteps, crunching sticks or leaves? Where does this make any sense that she would be suspicious of a bird hooting? Oh, yeah, there you go. I mean, I'm just thinking logically, because someone has to think logically, because fuck knows the writers weren't thinking it, the showrunners weren't thinking it, so think logically. What would cause you to be suspicious? Yeah. B, letter 2. The second option, yeah. Footsteps, maybe. Like footsteps, obvious crunching of sticks, leaves. It tells you that someone is like sneaking around that area that maybe shouldn't be there. Yes. But a bird hoots. She hears a bird hooting, and this is what she does. Yeah, because that's suspicious. That's suspicious. So let me go investigate a bird call. Unless they're like, again, I'm going to give them too much credit, and I know I'm going to sound like I'm writing this series for them, but I would not put it past them to go, oh, they sensed that it wasn't an actual bird, so they just went to go investigate. So you're telling me, so if they come out and say that, right? So let's just posit that. If they come out and say that they just sensed it wasn't a real bird, that it was being faked, okay? All right, let's posit that. So you're telling me that they were able to sense that it was not an actual bird call, but someone mimicking a bird call, but they could not sense that man there is not Sauron. let's posit that as a reason that these showrunners would come up with to defend this show, that they figured out, they could sense it was not a real bird, and that's why they went to investigate. Because I could see people coming up with that excuse, but then I turn that back on them and say, you're telling me that they could sense that, but not that this man here, not Gandalf, is not Sauron. Well, they're supernatural beings, so like, I'm saying they're supernatural beings, they should be able to sense. Should be able to sense, like what's real, what's not real, and so forth. I mean, hell, one of them control fire. So they're not normal. She acts like a mama ready to whoop a kid's ass for cursing at her. Yeah, that's like, like all that's missing is her pulling off her flip flop and going, "What the fuck? What did you say to me? What did you say to me?" That's all that's missing. It's her bullshit defense. Yeah, pretty much. I'm saying, like, I can see the bullshit defenses forming. Because I'm calling out this, and I can see the bullshit defenses to try to counter what I'm saying. I actually would have bought her pulling off like a flip flop and like, it's like, like ready to beat a child and so forth for cursing at her. But African swallows are non-migratory, yeah. That's how they figured it out. They figured it out. It was they differentiated between a European swallow and an African swallow, and because it sounded like an African swallow and they knew that it was non-migratory, that's how they figured it out. Yeah, get the chancla. Anyway, I saw that and I almost laughed. Like, dear Christ. That is so stupid. That is so stupid. Alright, so Sadok and Nori go to release what they believe to be not Gandalf, and Marigold finds not Gandalf passed out, and it's revealed that not Gandalf here, hold on, is not him. Like, they've somehow realized that. Alright, hold on, I'm gonna take this back a little bit. They based on the eyes, it's not Gandalf. Okay. Alright, she's holding one in her right hand. She throws it. It looks like she's holding one in her left hand. Looks like she has two blades. Okay, I'm trying to get a clear shot of it. Okay, hold on. Okay, can't get a good shot, but she's holding two blades. She's holding one in her right hand and one in her left. How much do they weigh? Well, are they laden or unladen? That's the question. Are they laden or unladen? All right. So I can't give you an answer unless I know if they're laden or unladen swallows. All right. But anyway, she has two blades. She throws one at Sadok. Okay. All right, hold on, I gotta take it. Nori's back is to her. So what prevented this being from throwing the second one at Nori? Why did she not throw, like, plot armor is just... Because I'm looking at that, I watched that scene, I'm like, you have two blades. It's literally like that scene in Austin Powers when Scott Evil when Dr. Evil is going to have Austin and Miss Kensington go like on that slow moving platform pretty much, and Scott Evil just like, why don't you just shoot them? Felicity, yes. Felicity or whatever. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It's a half foot anyway, yeah. She has two. Look, I'm trying to get a grip. I'm trying to get a good shot, but she has two. She comes around the corner fast. See? It's really faint, but look at her left hand. She's holding a blade. She's holding one in her left. Okay, she's holding one in her left. So you can see how her hand is? Now, if she weren't holding something, her hand would be like this. Okay? Because why would she fist? Yeah. Why would she have her hand in a fist? If she weren't, at this point, if she weren't holding something, okay? So she's holding a blade there. Okay? Okay. I wish I could get a good shot. You can't quite see it, but she's holding a blade in her left hand, and she comes around the corner, and she tosses the one she has in her right hand at Sadok. Alright? Okay? So she has a second blade in her hand. Nori turns her back to her because the blade goes past her. Here, watch. I'll just play it. Okay, it's quick, but watch. She has two blades. One on the left, one on the right. She throws one on the right. And she's holding one in her left hand. See? Okay? And even then, that one right there is holding a blade. Good night, Dave. What was stopping them from killing Nori right now? They show that they had no qualms with killing Sadok. But yet they let Nori live? Like, what? Again, I feel like Scott Evil. Why didn't you just kill her? I'm like, again, they were willing to burn down the murder hobbit village, so what's stopping them from killing these hobbits? I mean, they were about to do it, but they do it like the slowest fashion ever. They're supernatural beings. Right? Okay, not Gandalf is awake. This show is like so fucking horrible. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, like there's a second one there because Nori's stepmom is, I mean, light-skinned black, but still. But yeah, they kill Sadok. Why? I don't know. But nothing was stopping them from killing Nori at that point. But plot armor. Killshot was right there. Her back was to them. At the very least, shank the bitch when you get up close to her, because she wasn't paying attention. Her focus was on Sadok, so just shank her when you get close to her. Yeah, pretty much. Hello, Corey. Yeah, I know, I'm patently evil according to the showrunners. Alright? This show is so horrible. Look at that shot. Alright, so she stops not Gandalf from whatever he's doing. See? Okay. I gotta show. See, she has multiple blades. So see, hold on, let me play this right here. See, watch. Okay. Okay, remember we only saw her throw the one, at least up until this point. We only saw her throw the one. Watch. Second blade. Because we know Sadok has one. We know Sadok has one, so there's the second blade. Alright? There's the second blade. Remember I said she had at least two? There's the second one. And a third. Because she traps whatever her name is, Poppy, to the tree. So 3. And a third. And watch this. She's pulling out a 4th. 4 fucking blades. She only throws 1 at Sadok. She could have thrown 1 at Nori, and she could have killed the other 2. At the very least, 1 blade per. She somehow pulls out at least 4 blades. At least 4 blades. Alright? Because, okay, she threw 2 at Poppy. She's pulling out a third. Alright, so that makes it 4 total. Because we know Sadok still has his. And he stabs her in the foot. I don't know, you couldn't have Sadok do an upper thrust? But what would have accomplished stabbing her in the foot? I thought Poppy was just a fat boy. No, Poppy's a female. I thought Nori's sibling was a boy, but apparently that's a girl. I don't know where she's pulling them from, but she pulled out. We've seen a total of 4 blades. A total of 4 blades. Or thrown it or something, but he just stabs her in the foot. I know Harfoots or hobbits aren't exactly fighters, but at the same time, he understands the concept of where he was fucking stabbed, so maybe just stab her in the same place. Because he obviously feels pain, so pull it out and just shank her in her side. She's screaming in pain, so her mind is on the pain right now, so pull it out and just shank the bitch. Yeah, Nazgul's blades regenerate, apparently, yeah. That's a terrible screaming face. I paused it. You gotta admit, I paused it on a good shot right there, pretty much. Yeah, stab the armored foot, but not the right under the chest plate. Yeah. Yeah, it goes against for strong whammon. Yeah, but you gotta admit, I paused it like just in the right spot. Look at that scream. But anyway, all right. So he stabs her in the foot. Okay. So, not Gandalf is getting his butt handed to him by Femme Shady. And Femme Shady is not talked at all. Sorry. At all. Was that... No, my look watching this show... My look watching this show was this. This is my internally screaming face. Yeah. So. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, remember, because this show, I did a video, shameless plug, I did a video about the one director for the first 2 episodes saying that it's important to be unfaithful to the adapted works because they did not want to bank on nostalgia, but yet there's member berries left and right in this series, so they were banking on nostalgia pretty fucking much. No worries, chap. I was in the military trying to stay cool under pressure. Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, Femme Shady has not spoken a word at all throughout this entire season. Because, this one here, whatever this one's name is, tells, make him see. Why should Sauron be made to see? Again, he should have smacked it of evil incarnate. As these beings would know. Make him see. Alright? I paused on the greatest. I wish this were a little bit brighter, because I could have used this as the thumbnail as well. They really still think he's Sauron. They really still think he's Sauron at this point. Alright? So, again, amazing pauses right there, right? But anyway, make him see, which, again, would not have had to do with Sauron, because Sauron would not need to be shown anything at this point. He's been on Middle-earth, refused to repent on Middle-earth for thousands of years, alright? Served Morgoth, evil incarnate. He would not be able to be shown, need to be shown anything. It's an Sauron reference. I wouldn't put it past them. But anyway. So, there you go. Okay. Oh, watch this. So, watch this. A supernatural being is hit with a rock. They were able... Look at that. A being that can do this. Filthy little hobbitses. They tricked us. Yeah, can't deflect rocks. I'm making this Halloween decorations. I mean, to be fair, yeah, that would mean more candy for me. But at the same time, I don't want my residents to be egged, so probably not. Yeah, it's so dirty. Yeah. Hit! A fine hit, yes. Filthy little hobbitses, yes. But anyway, like a being that can do this. Literally control fire. Can't deflect rocks. Alright, so she's burning, going after the Harfoots, burning them. Nori gives not Gandalf a staff. Alright, because at this point, he's good. You're not perilled. You're not perilled. Alright? Gives him a staff. Member berries. Alright? Yeah, but she's evil. The fire shouldn't be hot. Yeah, it should be cold, right? They don't even follow their own fucking lore in this series. Alright? Member berries. Watch this. Watch this. She gives him the staff, because... Hold on. You choose by what you do. I love this postmodernist take. Right? That... It's just actions that define you. Pretty much. That Sauron could... That Sauron is misunderstood, things like that. I love this most postmodernist take. Alright? Oh, you can show what you are. You choose by what you do. Oh, I'm good. Such a stupid line. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So the other Harfoots are being cornered. Okay. All right. Mostly peaceful. He's mostly peaceful. Yeah, somehow he's starting to speak English. All right. He did not speak English for most of this season, and then started picking up words here and there, and now he's able to form sentences. Ever since meeting the three Nas girls, he's able to form sentences. He's still alive at this point. He's still alive. Yeah, pretty much. You have to believe in yourself, right? So he puts out the fire. Oh my god, who could that be? Watch this. From shadow you came, to shadow I bid you return. Go back to the land of shadows. Who could this be? He's not to defend this series, but he's covering it with his hand. But also he should be bleeding more, based on where the blade entered. All right. I love this. Watch this. He is not Sauron. He is the other, the Ishtar. He is. I love how they pause. I'm good. God fucking damn. Yeah, pretty much, to get the prototype hobbits, yeah. Holy crap, Moses is a wizard, yes. No, he's not Sauron, because they were stupid. Yeah, Moses. I'm good. Alright? And look at this, folks. This is where we get the Nas girls. You shall not pass. Happy Eastar, yeah. Hey, Chris Mack, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad, yeah. You weren't missing anything. You weren't missing anything. So I'm glad I didn't watch the show. You're not missing anything. Yeah. Which also breaks lore seeing them now. It's here. Hold on. I love this book. Nazgul. Right? Now again, I'm not going to pull out the timeline, but again, the Rings of Power were Annatar approached Celebrimbor in 1500, the year 1500, and between 1500 and 1590, the Rings of Power were forged, right? To include the Elven Rings of Power, which were made in secret by Celebrimbor because he did not trust Annatar. And then Annatar revealed himself to be Sauron in 1600 with the creation of the One Ring. I sound like Elmer Fudd. One Ring. All right? Okay? So they look like Nazgul, right? They look like Nazgul here, okay? Or they will be. Well, if they are, it breaks the timeline because it says Nazgul. Again, fun fact. Okay, Naz means ring. Ghoul means ghost. Ring ghost. Ring wraith. Okay? I can't remember if that's early or middle English or something, but that's what that name means. Nazgul. Naz, ring. Okay? Naz, ring, ghoul, ghost. Nazgul. Alright? Ring ghost, ring wraith. So it's the same name, pretty much. It's the okay, but it's the Nazgûls now. Nazgûl. Okay? See again? I love this book right here. In the 23rd century of the Second Age of the Sun, right? So year 2300. 700 years after Sauron reveals himself. In Middle-earth, though there arose 9 mighty wraiths who in the black speech of orcs were named the Nazgûl, which is ring wraiths, and of all the evil servants and generals of Sauron the Ring Lord, these Nazgûl proved to be the greatest. It is said that the Nazgûl were once powerful kings and sorcerers among men, and they were each given a ring of power by Sauron. Okay, the nine rings of power given to the race of men. 9 Nazgûl. Alright? These rings were 9 of the magical 19 rings that Celebrimbor and the elf-smiths of Eregion forged for Sauron. For many centuries, these men used their rings to fulfill their own desires, yet all were ruled by the one ring that Sauron made. Hence, the one ring to rule them all. Okay, the one ring. Okay? Though these chosen men lived by the power of the rings far beyond their span of ordinary mortals, their forms faded. By the 23rd century, they were wraiths entirely and thralls that thought only of how they might serve Sauron, the Ring Lord. So if these are Nazgûls or Nazgûls, they are breaking lore because they did not appear as wraiths until the year 2300 in the Second Age. And if Sauron is just revealing himself now per the timeline, it is around 1600. But again, the Rings of Power haven't been formed because the Rings of Power are created before Sauron reveals himself. Alright? The timeline is fucked. It's all bad. So these supernatural beings, these wraiths, could not fucking tell that they weren't in the presence of an Istar. And I'm beginning into that, alright? Lore breaking. Okay? And I'll be getting into reading what the Istari are when we get a little bit later on in this episode. This took us fixed in the second edition, yeah. So lore breaking, right fucking here. Because you do not see the appearance of the 9 men, right? We do not see the appearance of them as wraiths until the year 2300. Again, if they wanted to go back to a book, here's at least one book they could have fucking picked up. Alright? What? Okay, I want to play this, because watch this. Another big fucking hint. There's another big fucking hint. Watch. Where's the moth? Right here, watch. Okay, here, the Nazgûls, alright? Watch. Who could this fucking be? Watch, I gotta pause it better. Who could this be? Yeah, back to the mystery box. Yeah, pretty much. Written by purple-haired women. Yeah. Mothra, yes. But who could that be? Even if you haven't read the books and you've just seen the movies, right? Who could that be? Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Mothra's actually useful. But anyway. Totally not Gandalf. Totally not Gandalf. Now, if they actually drop his name in the second season, I will really pull a razor fist moment, and I'll be like, I was fucking right. Fuck you, I was right. I really will pull a razor fist. Fuck you, I was right. So I'm seeing all these clues. I'm seeing all these little mystery boxes they're putting out. I'm like, he's dressed in gray. That symbol looks like the symbol of Gandalf. A moth. He fell. Well, I mean, this already didn't fall from Earth, but still. Hello, my name is Halfoot. My hair is full of birchwood. Harfoots call me Poppy. I know I'm rather sloppy. Want to smell my armpits? Maybe I should be a Rings of Power writer, yeah. Yeah, but this Tolkien lore expert said that the show is accurate to the books. I need a chair to spin around in, yeah, pretty much. I need to be, like, do this, pretty much. Fuck you, I was right. That's what I need to do. Yeah, but a woman will name him, pretty much, yeah. So they claim they aren't connected to Peter Jackson movies, but use the moss in the design for the Balrog. Yeah. And that also, I mean, what with the Balrog awoken now, we see that the Balrog is awake. What's stopping the Balrog from taking out the dwarves now? Because the whole point of the Balrog being woken up was the fact that the dwarves were digging too deep and too greedily. But he's awake now, so what's stopping him? And he's woke too. It's ma'am. Oh my god. Yeah. But I'm saying all these fucking clues dropped. Yeah. Okay. So staff disappears. Alright. So we're gonna kind of skip this part because Sadok dies. He wants to watch the sunrise. He said that the missus will be waiting for him. He's going off trail. As he puts it, he's going off trail. Balrog won't harm Disa? No, she won't. No, it won't, pretty much. But go wandering off trail. Alright, so it ends that where they kind of watch the sunrise. See, like that wound right there, he would have been weak. He would have been too weak to stand. Because there's nothing stemming the blood or anything like that. Just his hands, because it wouldn't be good at stopping the blood for anything. And he would have been too weak to stand. He literally got a knife right fucking there, near his lungs. Alright? Oh my god. Yeah, knife didn't immediately kill him, but he bleeds out, pretty much. Just so they could have this moment of them watching the sunrise. I'm saying, there's nothing stopping the blood. He's not holding anything against it other than his hand. So he would have, been, if not bled out by now, then full on weak, even before the Nazgûls were destroyed. He would not have been able to stand at that point. He would not have been able to stand. He would have been weakened. All right, so we have this beautiful moment, which, hold on, I'll stop. Oh, fucking hell. I'll stop it there. We're supposed to have this beautiful moment, and I'm sitting here watching the scene going, I don't fucking care. Because I've not connected to any of these characters, really, the entirety of the season. This is supposed to be a moving moment where the trail finder, the head of the murder hobbits, is dying. And we're supposed to be choked up at this scene, and I do not care at all. Insta-croak, yeah. Harfoot's heart's on the other side, yeah. But that's the end of that scene. Now we have the single Numenorian ship heading back to Numenor. And Mariel's counting the steps because she's still blind. Now, granted, Dave did point out last week that there's a possibility that it's could be potentially be blinded from what happened to her. However, it's still not entirely accurate. But at the same time, there it is. Anyway. Oh my god, yeah. That's another thing. Sardock death scene 10 seconds. Nori says goodbye to Poppy 8 minutes, yeah. That scene lasted so fucking long, and I was like, Jesus, either stay or go. I don't fucking care, but make your mind up. Hello, Scandrel. Say his name. Anyway. Yeah, the skies are strange, he quotes, yeah, pretty much. That's his legacy for the entire season. That's his legacy. Anyway, she's counting the steps. See, there's a part in this scene. Take leave of duty. Hold on. You once asked me why I pulled a Galadriel from the sea. He said I hadn't. Hold on. Alright, let me just. I claimed I had little choice. I could have left her there, but the truth is, I could have refused to follow her to Middle Earth. Yet at every turn I made the choices I did because Elendil does not merely mean one who loves the stars. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. But didn't the Queen kind of point that out to him, that his name also meant something other than this? So, wouldn't she be able to kind of deduce that fact? Because his name also means elf friend? Prizes for hours to pull off not looking blind, but when they arrive, and Numenor instantly wears blindfold so everyone knows that she's blind. Yes. Yeah. Yes, in one of the early episodes. So, he's kind of like saying as if it's some sort of revelation, and she knows that's what his name means, so she kind of figured out that whole reasoning early on in the season, because she was questioning why he pulled her out, and she was kind of accusing him of, like, was it because you, like, you know, being, because you're elf friend? That's what your name means? So she knows. She's blind, don't be mean. They called back to it, yeah. So she already knows. I just never imagined it would lead here. See, again, this is falls onto Galadriel. I mean, it falls on Elendil also in name only, but it falls on Galadriel because she's the one who played fast and loose with other people's lives. She's the one who somehow convinced Muriel to lead troops, and volunteer ones at that. Some ones who have not held a sword, probably at all. Volunteer troops to these lands that no one knew about, on the premise that we are defeating some grand evil, and so forth. So we have Galadriel to blame for the events that lead up to this, what happens in the Third Age. So she's pretty much, they made Galadriel pretty much the Obi-Wan Kenobi of this series, where Obi-Wan Kenobi could have killed Anakin Skywalker in that series, but decided not to. So Kenobi is essentially to blame for the destruction of the annihilation of Alderaan. Yeah, she does not look blind one bit. Yeah. Oh my god, tools. And anyway, my father once told me, hold on, and trusting that, hold on. Her father, who's white, so she would have had a black mother, but she, whatever. Tar Palantir, so he's Tar Muriel. She's part of the faithful, by the way. She's part of the faithful. Right? She and Elendil are part of the faithful, so they would not have been at odds at this point in the timeline. They would not have been at odds. And even when Tar Muriel marries Ar-Pharazôn, they were not at odds, because it was Ar-Pharazôn who brought about the downfall of Numenor, essentially. So she was not at odds with Elendil. They were both part of the faithful, because he drops the faithful in this line right here. Right here. My father once told me that the way of the faithful. So both she and Elendil are part of that. It was the faithful that were spared by the Valar when Ar-Pharazôn decided to wage war against Valinor. Pretty much. I'm saying, like, they dropped that, but I'm saying there would not have been any animosity between them, but you saw the tension between both Elendil and Muriel at the beginning of this series, and no mention of no mention of the faithful, not one evidence until now. But at the same time, knowing what I know about those characters, knows that they would not have had any tension between them because they are part of that same group. He secured it with 81 million votes. Mind you, also 81 million votes. But no mention of the faithful until now. And like I said, knowing what I know about the characters, I know that they would not be at odds with each other. There would not be any tension because they were within that same part of the faithful. All right? But now she's dropping those words right here. But it's Lord knows, back to the book. Back to the book. Whatever. All right? It's committing to pay the price. Even if the cause cannot be known, right? Mail-in votes, yeah, pretty much. She's dropping that, but we've seen no evidence of the faithful, other than like the little bit here and there of like Tar Plantier in its delusional state, essentially. But this is the first time we're seeing that. But like I said, the faithful were spared when Numenor was destroyed. When Ar-Pharazôn decided to wage war against the Valar because he was seduced and manipulated by Sauron, which happens a lot fucking later in the timeline, the faithful were spared. Oh, they don't set up that the Numenorians hate the elves because they are jealous of elven immortality. They set it up that they hate the elves because the elves are stealing my jobs. My jobs, pretty much. Basically making the Numenorians out to be like MAGA Trump supporters, like against immigration because the immigrants are stealing their jobs. Pretty much, that's how they fucking set it up. Again, I'm like, look at these lines. I'm saying I'm playing it right here. This is what I get to watch on a weekly fucking basis. They took our jobs. Yes. See, the Valar wouldn't demand any price because they are the faithful. That's the whole point of being part of the fucking faithful. That they stayed faithful to the Valar. That's why the Valar spared them. Now, I don't know. I mean, so the writing in this show tries to be erudite, and it fails miserably. Oh my god. If you were to say that to Tolkien's face, Trav. Oh my god. Anyway. So. Sometimes the cost is dear. We have little choice then to keep serving. Alright. Whatever. Okay, I'm just going to skip this part because they end up in Numenor's harbor and they see the black sails, which tells them the king is dead. So all you see of Ar-Pharazôn again is him looking down at the king, and you know what he's going to fucking do. He's going to secure the election with mail-in ballots, and he's going to become king through marrying Tarmuriel. Yeah, pretty much. Random. It's basically mystery boxes. It's literally mystery boxes galore. Yeah. Why are there no faithful in the show? Joe Pharazôn, yes. Alright, so. Now back to Region. Accident in the forge, because they can't fucking figure out how to bond this mithril with other lesser ores. Cyan, figure out how to bond Mithril with lesser ores. Because somehow Mithril has a mind of its own. She felt the sign of patience is during. Okay, Halbrand comes in again. Oh, here's a tip. Supposing that's the trouble. Supposing we'll be using too much force. Meaning that the metals shouldn't be forced to join, but coaxed. So again, this is a master forger, right? He's a master forger, as I read. They're kind of treating him as if like he can't figure this out himself. They're treating him as like he can't figure this out himself. And I'm thankful that I'm not hosting Talk Nerdy to us tonight, because I'm fucking done. Didn't learn about foreplay, yeah. As many medicines as can fit, yeah. He needed the outsider to tell him, yes. Celebrimbor, I'm not saying that Celebrimbor would have had necessarily all the answers, but he would have been like this close. But in this episode, like he doesn't really get he needs someone else to tell him the answers. Like he can't figure it out until he's like kind of given those major hints and clues and answers. So you need the outsider to tell him. Yeah. So she's suspicious. Okay, the librarian elf comes to her with what he's found or what he found. Okay. Yeah. Now he's suspecting something. Smaller, yeah. There's no king in the Southlands. The line was broken. Remember, that's another Member Berry's line. That's another Member Berry's line. This line right here. Oh, come on, would you move? Oh, come on. The line was broken. There's another Member Berry's scene. Another Member Berry's line that I didn't bring up earlier. Remember what the dead king said to Aragorn when Aragorn blocked the dead king's sword? And the dead king could see what that sword was? I don't have it in here. We do have a replica of that sword somewhere. But it has been remade. Yes. That sword was broken. It has been remade. Right? It's a little member berries right there. About how, like, oh, remember this? You think the townsfolk in the Southlands would have mentioned that the line was broken 1,000 years ago when they tried to introduce him to 26-year-old new king? Yeah. It's been 1,000 years with no king. Pretty much. Come on, you stupid. The last man to bear your crest died over 1,000 years ago. Remember what I said was like, how do they know he didn't pull it off a dead man? How do they know that he didn't pull that crest off a dead man? Like, Kevin McAllister face right now. What? I swear, this plot only moves forward because characters are so fucking stupid. I fucking called it! I fucking called it! I said in the previous stream, how do they fucking know he didn't pull, all they show is the fact that he has that crest. So how do they know he didn't pull it off of someone? Strength to the king. So that little sigil made you believe he was your king just because a strong woman from a foreign island introduced you as the promised king? Yeah. The whole plot moves forward because everyone in this show, this series, to one extent or another, was stupid. Sauron never told a lie, yeah. Sauron. Alright? I told you I found it on a dead man. Alright? So now we get into the whole scene where Sauron becomes, at least decides to be evil entirely because he got friend-zoned. Alright? No, this whole thing, no, on the raft you saved me. I want to see the mental gymnastics for people, like, excusing that line, for defending that line. How the fuck did she save him? Because, like, because you complete me. Yeah, they made him an incel, pretty much. Yeah, it does a mind meld with her, yeah. Against your enemy and mine. You convinced her I wanted to remain in Numenor. You convinced Muriel to save the men of Middle-earth. You convinced her I wanted to remain in Numenor against your enemy and mine. Whatever, so he... Tell me your name. I've been awake since before the breaking of the first silence. Right? Because Sauron... Handy dandy little book. Maya, Lord of the Rings. Once a Maya spirit of Aule the Smith, Sauron remained, meaning the Abhorred, became the chief lieutenant of Melkor, the Dark Lord, in the Ages of Darkness, while Melkor ruled in Autumno, and in the Ages of Stars, while Melkor was chained by the Valar, Sauron ruled the evil realm of Angband. During the Wars of Beleriand, Sauron served his master until Melkor was cast into the void at the end of the First Age of the Sun. Morgoth, pretty much, alright? Because Melkor, right, was his original name. And he's called Morgoth. Sauron reappeared on Middle-earth during the 5th century of the Second Age as Anatar, giver of gifts. So Sauron has been back in Middle-earth up until this point for several... He's been around for thousands of years, but at this point he's been back on Middle-earth for 1,000 years. A 1,000 years. And the real Galadriel would have been able to sense that in him. I'm getting a headache right now. You can stop the incel thing now, yeah. Halbrand is the audience surrogate. You ignored every bit of dialogue in the earlier episodes, or you'd have known I wasn't king. Well, yeah, I'm saying, like, is the targeted audience for the show for Amazon and the showrunners, because they sure as hell weren't targeting Tolkien fans. Because I and others were calling it out throughout this entire series. I said it could go either direction. I gave 2 directions. One, the lesser of the two, that he's an in-name only Aragorn type for the Second Age. Non-canonical Aragorn type for the Second Age. And 2, because I'm saying there's like clues with the forging and things like that he is Sauron. Well, he dropped that gift line. So, from the first episode, she would have known. From the first instance where she met him, she would have known that there was, at the very fucking least, something off about him. But she would have been able to read him like a book. Yeah, was a gift. Yeah, that was the gift. Oh my god, you actually saw someone tweet that what makes a fan nowadays? You guys. People who like actually know their shit and are calling out the breaking. Alright, so he stops her from stabbing him. Okay. In that time I've had many names. Okay. Then tricks her into thinking she's talking to her brother. Hold on. Well, I'm gonna get. But I learned. I wish the text wasn't white. But I learned Sauron's task as well. Like he's saying right here. I'm gonna get to the lines. Your task was hunting Sauron. My task was to ensure peace. My task was to ensure peace. But I learned that was Sauron's task as well. So they're painting Sauron as some type of anti-hero. Yeah. I know. I'm saying, like, literally in this episode, he drops the word gift. So I'm like, fucking hell. This show is absolute dog shit. And they're making out, like, they're literally making Sauron out to be an anti-hero. And they actually dropped that word in the article I'll be covering at the end of the stream, alright? Whose ring are we wearing? Did we get divorced? Yeah. I see that, Jules. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying I would not put it past them that Adar is Celeborn. Or something. I would not put it past them at this point. Okay? Along with countless others because of him. He was seeking a power not to destroy Middle-earth, but to heal it. Okay? Now, I'm going to go to my Twitter. I'm just going to read the quote that I posted from Tolkien about Sauron. Okay, this is one of Tolkien's letters, okay? In my story, I do not deal in absolute evil. I do not think there is such a thing, since that is zero. I do not think that at any rate any rational being is wholly evil. Satan fell. In my myth, Morgoth fell before creation of the physical world. In my story, Sauron represents as near as an approach to the wholly evil will as is possible. He had gone the way of all tyrants, beginning well at least on the level that while desiring to order all things according to his own wisdom, he still at first considered the economic well-being of other inhabitants of the earth, but he went further than human tyrants in pride and the lust for domination being an origin and immortal angelic spirits. So he would not at all think about healing Middle-earth. They're trying to paint him out to be sympathetic. At the very least, he would have been wanting to gather the inhabitants of Middle-earth under his control, all right? Order, that type of order. But he would not want to heal Middle-earth. As we saw, because like he picked Mountain Doom, that location, Mountain Doom, for his tower. Is that someone that desires to heal Middle-earth? Really? Oh, there you go. Payne thinks Satan is an anti-hero, where Milton, makes Satan a really compelling character. In some ways, he's the first anti-hero where he's compelling and you can't take your eyes off. Yeah, fucking hell. So, like, because, again, you read the, like, early chapters of the Silmarillion, the casting out of Melkor and that war, right, reads like the war in heaven from the Bible, okay? Melkor is Lucifer. Lucifer becomes Satan. Satan is not an anti-hero. He decides to take on God out of pride, and is often attributed with the quote, "It is better to rule in hell than serve in heaven." Right? He is not an anti-hero. He full-on wants to corrupt everything God loves, per our religion, per Christianity. Same with Melkor, who is so named Morgoth, renamed Morgoth. Same with Sauron. He doesn't care about healing anything that all would be remotely loved by Iluvatar. He wants to corrupt it. But they're painting him out to be some type of anti-hero, sympathetic villain, and I'm sick of it. Alright? So he's basically just confusing Galadriel in this part, right here. Putting her, like, back in Valinor, and back on the raft. And here's where he gets friend-zoned. When Morgoth was defeated. I love this. I love this line right here. Hold on. When Morgoth was defeated, it was as if a great clenched fist had released its grasp from my neck. As if he had no choice. As if he had no choice. But again, Sauron is described as became the chief lieutenant of Melkor the Dark Lord in the Ages of Darkness, while Melkor ruled in Autumno, and in the Ages of Stars, while Melkor was chained by the Valar, Sauron ruled the evil realm of Angband. He had a fucking choice. He chose to serve Morgoth. He had a choice. It wasn't against his will at all. It wasn't as if his neck had been released, whatever this line is. Yeah, you'd think that, wouldn't you? You would think that would have healed Frodo, and he would not have been corrupted by the ring, or started to be corrupted by the ring. But Sauron had a choice. He chose to follow Melkor. He chose his path. It was not against any will whatsoever. It full on, purposefully chose to follow Melkor and be his chief lieutenant. Right? And in the stillness of that first sunrise, again, he's Sauron. He and the orcs work in darkness, but somehow he's in the stillness of that first sunrise. At last, I felt the light of the One again. Iluvatar. That's what he's talking about. Fucking hell. Was to be forgiven. They had to heal everything that I helped ruin. Well, they fucking established at the end of this season there's no fucking way that's going to happen because he got friend-zoned. Because he wants a queen. Right? There is no such future, isn't there? Oh, I'm going to get to that part. Look at that. He wants a queen by his side. My queen! My queen! He wants a queen to rule by his side. Yeah, Sauron became a simp. They turned Sauron into a simp. Right? I would make you a queen. Stronger than the foundations of the earth. Remember Barry's line 3. Remember what Galadriel says when she's refusing to take the ring from Frodo? When she says, instead of a Dark Lord, you would have a queen? Remember Barry's line there, folks. Remember Barry's line. Yeah, classic. Yeah, Sauron. Classic Sauron design. Clap. Seal clap, folks. Seal clap. And he chose Galadriel, yeah. Yeah, so many close-ups. Right? King. The Dark Lord. Fucking hell. No, not Dork. You bind me to the light, and I bind you to power. Together we can save this Middle Earth. Or rule. She is so fucking short. I see no difference. Alright? So she basically refused. She basically friend zones him. Cassie offered deigning to beg them for a few petty soldiers. So, yeah. You were my ally. Surround this because of you. And you'll die because of me. The dialogue is so fucking horrible. He got over. She friend zoned him. And he got over her really fucking quick. Well, yeah, I know. Which is kind of what I made the thumbnail, pretty much. Yeah. How dare you? Yes. That's a rodent face. Yeah, rat queen. That face. Yep. All right. So she's back in there. Hold on. I'll get to the line that you like, Gravy, all right? But Elrond pulls her out. She demands, like, to him to tell her, like, how they met. All right. Hold on. Because Elrond is a lot younger than she is. Without friend or kin. Right. The thing is, they look so close in age, and Elrond is younger than she is. Elrond is much younger than she is. He marries her daughter, which, by the way, no one has bothered to bring up the fact that with Celeborn being dead, where is her daughter? Or let's put it this way: when are we going to see her daughter at all? Because the timeline is all over the place. Because her daughter is Celebrian. Her daughter is Celebrian. Okay. All right. Okay. Elven Princess of Lothlorien, Celebrian was the only daughter of King Celeborn and Queen Galadriel. At the end of the 1st century of the Third Age of the Sun, Celebrian married Elrond, half-elven of Rivendell. They had 3 children: Elladan, over here, and Arwen. In the year 2509 of the Third Age, while Halbrand was traveling from Rivendell to Lothlorien, her entourage was attacked by an evil band of orcs. Okay? So she marries Elrond in the first century of the Third Age. So she would have been born by now, or at least close to it, when this takes place. Where is she? Are they going to bring up that fact? Because she marries Elrond. Well, stay tuned for what I'm going to go over in this article I found, alright? Yeah, Gil-galad is also younger than Galadriel. He's also younger. But he looks like he's like Celebrimbor, older than she is. And both of those characters are supposed to be younger than Galadriel. Hold on, let me get to the line that you like, Gravy. There it is. You're as wet as a river rock. No, yeah, no way he becomes Hugo Weaving. No fucking way. Yeah, I know. I'm saying, like, it's like Celebrimbor. It's like Elrond. All three of them were fighters. All three of them were warriors. All three of them were badass. And they turn Gil-galad into a plotting evil idiot asshole, Celebrimbor into a bumbling old fool, and Elrond into what the fuck is he supposed to be? But all three of them are fighters. All three of them are warriors. All three of them are warriors. Elrond is literally a commander. But they cuck all the fucking men in this regard. Gil-galad, Elrond, and Celebrimbor. Cuck all of them. Alright? So we're close to the end. Okay. Come on. Why is this not... Okay, listen. I need gold and silver of the most exquisite quality. And what did they melt that's most exquisite quality? Oh, look at that. She sacrifices Finrod's blade. Alright. Okay. I'm going to skip over a chunk of this scene because the goodbyes last way too fucking long. Way too fucking long. But I want to get to the part that pissed me off. Alright, again, where I fucking called it. Where I fucking called it. Alright. But they're going to leave. Okay. Hold on. Where's that line? Here it is. What they said, they can't explain. Well, I'm going to get to the line. You called you something else. Istar. Istar. Okay? Called you something else. Istar. Is that your kind? So, this guy who has not been able to speak English or really understand English for most of this season is able to now form coherent sentences and explain what Istar means. Right? He still knows. In your tongue, that means wise one. Or wizard. Consult the Book of Armaments. Alright, show you what I'm reading. After 1,000 years had passed in the third age of the sun, an elven ship came out of the western sea and sailed to the Grey Havens. Upon that ship were 5 aged men with long white beards and great cloaks. They were cloaks of various colors, and each man wore a tall pointed hat, high black traveler's boots, and carried a long staff. Yeah, I'm saying, how does she know that word? She may have jumped to the conclusion of star, but not Eastar. Because he fell from the sky, right? They were Istari, whom men called wizards. Their hats and staffs were their signs of office. They were an order, and a brother had sent to Middle-earth from the Undying Lands, for it was perceived that a great evil was growing in mortal lands. Yeah. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Okay. Though the Istari came secretly and in humble form in the beginning, before their arrival in Middle-earth, they were mighty spirits. They were Maiar, spirits older than the world itself, and of that first race that came from the mind of Iluvatar in the timeless hells. Yet, in the diminished world of Middle-earth, in the third age, they were forbidden to come forth in power as Maiar. They were limited to the form of men, and the power is found within the mortal world. Right? So, of those 5, okay, of those 5, Gandalf. Of those 5, Gandalf. Most famous and praised of the Istari is Gandalf the Grey, who by the elves was called Mithrandir, by the dwarves Tharkun, and Inkanus by the Haradim. As a Maya in the Undying Lands, he was named Olorien, and was accounted wisest of his people. At the time, he resided in the gardens of Lorien, the master of visions and dreams, and also went often to the house of Nienna, the Weeper. Tutored by the Valar Lorien in the gardens, Olorin, Olorin's wisdom for many ages grew greater still. Also counseled by Nienna in her house, which looks out on the walls of the night, to his wisdom was added pity and endurance beyond hope. Of all the Istari, Gandalf is counted the greatest by his wisdom. The free peoples of Middle-earth were guided to victory over the Dark Lord Sauron, who wished to enslave them. Okay, I'm not going to read further, but basically, they're breaking lore right here by having any Istar or Istari fall to Middle-earth, or at least fall to Middle-earth like a fucking meteor man, because they came by boat. They were literally sent to Middle-earth and taking form of men, because they could not come as what they actually are, Maya. So they had to take the form of men and have their powers limited. Oh, I'm getting to that. Well, see, they announced the casting for the Blue Wizards, and they're not this guy. They announced the casting for the Blue Wizards. I can find the articles, but they already announced that casting, and it wasn't this guy. I'll see if I can find an article with their pictures. I believe they did. Come on. Hold on. Hold on. I know they released pictures. I know they released the pictures. They shared pictures of them. I'd have to try to find it, but I could swear they released pictures, and this was like a year ago at least. Yeah, but yeah, so not Gandalf. Yeah. Goddamn. So much cooler than Boots. Yes. So I mean, that was a year ago, and they were cast because they patted themselves on the back for being diverse in the casting. I remember that, so they would not have patted themselves on the back for his casting. No offense to the actor necessarily, but they were patting themselves on the back last year because of diversity. Anyway, okay. So all this scene is, and I'm going to kind of skip over this because I've been going for almost 3.5 hours, and I do need to touch on that article and get stuff done before Talk Nerdy to us. But all this is basically is one long ass goodbye. All right, long one. Like they're getting ready to leave again. I don't know why, because I thought that this was like they made it to the end, so I thought they were basically setting up camp here. All right, but now they're leaving again. Hey, Susie. Because if I remember correctly, they were happy when they got to this point because this was like basically, oh, we're finally here. Okay, now they're leaving again, and basically like one long ass goodbye because they tell Nora, you belong out there. Go with the stranger who we thought might be evil, but now looks like he's good, even though he's totally not Gandalf. But this is one fucking long ass goodbye. Okay, thank you, Soul Says, because I know they released the pictures. But anyway, this is just one long ass goodbye. To say like Nora, you belong out there, not with us. All right, I'm just gonna skip through this part. All right, hold on. This part right here. This is all another part where it's like, oh, member berries. Member berries. Here you go. Watch. There it is. This way. Are you sure? Watch this. Not entirely. Watch. Again, totally not Gandalf. There's a sweet smell on the air this way. The air does not smell so foul down here. When in doubt, Eleanor Brandyfoot. When in doubt, Meriadoc Brandybuck. Always follow your nose. Jesus Christ. Oh, it's a verbatim stealing of a line from Fellowship of the Ring. All they did was change the fucking name. When in doubt, Meriadoc Brandybuck. Always follow your nose. The air does not smell so foul down here. Oh. You know, I want to approach something that stinks, yeah, pretty much. How are these dipheads meant to be taken seriously in context? They are both the most stealthy, cautious people who hide for a living and objectively inbred feral idiots who get lost in an open field, yes. I don't know. They're supposed to be the most representative of hobbits. They're pretty much Harfoots. Think about this. Harfoots become the hobbits we see in the Shire. Okay, so that's where they end up. Harfoots, they're hobbits. They end up in the Shire. Okay, something gets bred out of them, and what could it possibly be? They pat themselves on the back for diversity, and yet, where were they in the Third Age? Something got bred out. Okay, I'm just gonna get to the part where they show the rings. They create because okay, I skipped this part. I want to get back to here. We must make 3. We have Galadriel to thank for coming up with the magic number on how many rings the elves should have. 3. We have Galadriel to thank for that. Not Celebrimbor. We have Galadriel to thank for that. I skipped over this part. I forgot about this because we have Galadriel to think about that because she says 3, why 3? She's because believe all women. 1 will always corrupt. 1 ring to rule them all. 2 will divide. But 3, there is balance. So without Galadriel, Celebrimbor would have never come up with this. Without Galadriel, Celebrimbor would never come up with this on his own. He needed her there to say, we need to make 3 rings. Alright, so let's get to the part where they make the rings. Elrond figures out what Galadriel's still hiding. Alright, there's the rings. Right? There's the rings. These are the 3 elven rings. Nenya, okay? The one Gil-galad takes, and the one Círdan takes. And speaking of him, he's in the article. Okay, but those are the 3 elven rings. Actors Jeff Morrell and Peter Mulan are the Blue Bridges, because they've released the pictures. But anyway, those are the rings, okay? But I'm going to... Hold on. If this will ever open up. Okay. Now, remember when I said all they had to do is look at the opening scene of Fellowship of the Rings? Look at these rings right here, alright? Look at these rings right here. The concept from the gemstones I showed earlier, yes. But look at those rings. There's Gil-galad, Círdan, and Galadriel. Alright? Now, doesn't matter what the fucking showrunners say about not wanting this series to be a prequel to Lord of the Rings, even though the history of Second Age is pretty much a fucking prequel to the events of the Third Age, you would at least think that someone would have had the smarts, the intelligence, the rationale to say, hey, maybe we should watch just the opening scene of Fellowship of the Ring because we kind of have to mirror what's been set up there, or at least in terms of the design for the rings. Because this is a precursor, right? This is a precursor, so the rings should match. You would think the rings would match. Look at those rings. Look at the rings. Those gems are not even cut or shaped, just polished raw stones. Yeah. But look at these. They're shaped. They're polished. Look at the bands. Look at the bands. Look at the Galadriel's ring. Like, that stands out like a sore fucking thumb right there. Alright? Look at the bands, okay? Look at the bands. Look at those. Those look like Halloween props. And cheap ones at that. I'm saying I've showed the bands. I showed the gemstones. I showed how the rings look like. Look at that. I believe it. I believe it. Yeah, remember, this is $1 billion show. Yeah, Celebrimbor is known for his fine craftsmanship. And look at that. I was forged in Brad Pitt's image. Something went wrong. I love this red, white, and blue. They're American rings. Yes. But like I'm saying, the rings in the Fellowship of the Ring, they look polished. They looked ornate. The gems looked cut and so forth with detail. Galadriel's ring looks nothing like that. It looks like a high school ring, like one of those rings you get when you graduate high school. Look at that. I saw that and I was like, did they even bother watching the fucking movie? No. I know the answer to the question as soon as I asked it, but there it is. And that's where it ends. Well, pretty much where it ends. Oh, well, no, we got Sauron. Hold on, I'll play this because he kind of smiles. He smiles. Oh, look, the eye is ever watching. All right. Yeah, Sauron smiles. It's like a little smirk. And he heads to Mount Doom. And they had the piss poor song adaptation of the Rings poem. 3 rings for the Elven Kings. 7. Okay, hold on. 3 rings for the Elven Kings. Under the sky. Okay, 3 rings for the Elven Kings under the sky. 7 for the Dwarf Lords in their Hall of Stone. 9 for the race of men doomed to die. And 1 for the Dark Lord upon his throne. 1 ring to rule them all. 1 ring to find them. 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them. Fucking shitty song. I could totally fix Galadriel. He's so hot. OMG, someone kill me now. Yeah. Oh, they're shipping Sauron and Galadriel from this show. They're already making fan art. Sariel. That's the ship name, Sariel. But there it is. This show is about rings of power. They've only shown 3 rings of power so far, and those 3 rings were actually made in secret by Celebrimbor. So Sauron didn't even know about them because Celebrimbor did not trust Anantar. He did not trust Anantar, so he created those 3 rings in secret. So that's breaks the lore right there. All right. But we have so far not seen the 7 for the dwarves or 9 for the race of men. But there it is. But anyway, stop sharing that shit. Yeah, I'll do that. Saraza? Saraza? Hashtag Saraza? Hold on. Yeah. No Galadriel can levitate rocks with this ring. Yeah, pretty much. Moron, that works too. Sounds like moron. But anyway. Here's the article I want to cover real fast. I'm going to close some of these tabs. Okay. I'm going to close some of these tabs. Oh, yeah, and Nenya the Ring. Which, a lot fucking prettier in Peter Jackson's version than we saw in the Rings of Power. But anyway. Here it is, folks. Real fast. Okay. Season 2 release date, cast, plot, and more. I'm not going to go into the entirety of this article. I want to cover just some things, all right? Just cover a little few things that I found of interest, relative interest, in this article, okay? Here's everything we know about Rings of Power Season 2, okay? But it did reveal Sauron's identity and gave fans more hints about who the stranger is. He's a wizard. No shit. And I love how McKay and Payne are saying that they're comparing his arc to those of popular anti-heroes, Tony Soprano and Walter White. Sauron is not a fucking anti-hero. He's evil incarnate. But they're trying to make him out. They're kind of trying to make him out as like a Darth Kaitis in a way. The way they've built up everything from the EU, Jason Solo becomes Darth Kaitis, who's doing this all for the greater good, pretty much. Yeah, so Hitler was an anti-hero now. Yeah, I see your comment. I see, Jules, yeah. So Sauron makes meth, yeah. So Sauron is not an anti-hero, but that's what they're describing him as an anti-hero, alright? Currently there's no premiere date. It says right here that season 2 for another couple years, which would mean the second half of 2024. Where is it? Is the second half of 2024. However, McKay and his co-showrunner Payne also admitted that with the experience gained from season 1 being under their belts, production on episodes in season 2 is going faster and more smoothly, which could bump up that time frame a bit. So we could possibly see season 2 earlier than the second half of 2024. No, I did not see it. I'll have to look for that. Halbrand and have an arc, yeah. Right? So basically, according to them, and I'm not saying take that as gospel truth, but what they're claiming is that we could be seeing season 2 sooner than the second half of 2024. All right, okay, fine. I'll change the background. Hold on. I'll change it back to my normal background. All right, there it is. All right. So you see Revy from Black Lagoon. All right. But anyway. But I'm saying could possibly be earlier. Okay. But here's something also interesting. Okay. The Lord of the Rings season 2 renewal. Amazon acquired the rights to make a Lord of the Rings television show back in for $250 million. Okay. McKay and Payne have stated that they have a 5-season run planned out and even know what the final shot of the series is, though Amazon has not officially ordered a 3rd season, let alone seasons 4 or 5. So Amazon have not officially ordered a season 3. Amazon has not officially ordered a season 3. All right. So I found that very interesting. Because I thought they were fully committed to the 5 seasons. I thought they were fully committed, but now the revelation is coming out that they have not officially ordered a 3rd season. So we could have just a season 2, and it could be panned or canned. Like pain in the ass, yeah. So I'm saying again, this is not set in stone, but the fact that it's now they're like even admitting that Amazon has not officially decided to order season 3, that they're only working on season 2. They're either going one season at a time, engaging response, or Amazon Studios is starting to read the writing on the wall, but they're not willing to admit that they royally fucked up. I'm betting it's the latter. Because if they had any faith in this series, they would have committed to the 5 seasons, but they didn't. This tells me they had little faith at all to begin with these seasons, and 2, they're watching they're watching the responses and they're reading the feedback, and they're kind of in a way admitting they've really fucked up without admitting they really fucked up, because they don't want to exactly outright come out and say that. I'm not saying that wouldn't be good news. Yeah, but yeah. And they're already filming season 2. But there it is. All right. There'll be 8 more episodes, so the season 2 isn't changing things up. So there'll be 8 hour-long episodes. Yay. Touting season 2 as being bigger and better on every level by an order of magnitude. That should have been, well, the bigger and better part, but she should have had the magnitude of drawing people in for the first season. They couldn't even do that. I love, like, finally wised up to Halbrand's true identity and how Galadriel felt totally blindsided by the reveal that he was Sauron. Yeah, because Galadriel, the real Galadriel, would have read him like a fucking book. But Galadriel was totally blindsided. Alright? But yeah, it's like the returning cast, so forth. Oh, here's what pissed me off in this article, okay? Because we're going to see Payne confirmed to Time before season 1 premiered that he was excited for fans to see their version of Círdan. Keywords there being their version. Not excited to see Círdan, like the version of Círdan. No, their version of Círdan. So we're getting Círdan in name only. And Círdan is the oldest living elf. So old that he is the only known elf to have a beard. I love being able to reference things. Círdan. Okay, go back to streamers so I can see. Elven Lord of Grey Havens. In the Ages of Starlight, Círdan became Lord of the Falathrim. Círdan means shipmaker, and his people were the first on Middle-earth to build ships. The harbors of Círdan survived through the wars of Beleriand until 474 when Morgoth's orc legions overran the Falas. However, Círdan withdrew to the Isle of Balar with his people. After the sinking of Beleriand, Círdan became the Lord of the Grey Havens. Considered one of the wisest of the elves, he was given Narya. So he, again, I pointed out, he was given one of the rings of power, the Elf Ring of Fire by Celebrimbor. At the end of the Second Age, Círdan joined the last alliance of elves and men, which resulted in the downfall of Sauron. Around the year 1000, he gave his ring to Gandalf the Wizard. In the year 1975, Círdan led a force of elves and men into the Battle of Fornos and defeated the Witch King of Angmar. At the end of the Third Age, the Keepers of the Rings left Círdan's havens. Círdan himself remained there long into the Fourth Age until the last elves departed. Idris Elba, yeah. Played by Lil Nas X. The Círdan Tolkien never wrote, yeah. So there it is, their version of Círdan. And he is portrayed, you see him briefly, and I closed the tab, but you see him briefly in that scene, opening scene, where the elves are looking at their rings. He's in the background. He's behind Galadriel. That's Círdan. Alright? Círdan with Lizzo. But anyway, there it is. I wanted to share that with you guys. Alright? I wanted to share that with you guys real fast, because the one thing I found interesting in that is that the fact that Amazon has not officially ordered a season 3. They have not officially ordered a season 3. So we will see. Now we have until sometime in 2024 when season 2 premieres. So we have at least, at the very least, roughly a year and a half reprieve from this show. We'll see what season 2 brings. We'll see what more lore breaking happens, even though the showrunners claim to be more canonical. But the fact that Amazon did not officially order any season after season 2, that speaks volumes. To me, at least, that speaks volumes. Because that tells me that they have little to no faith in this series. They'll sound like in interviews that they have faith in the show, that they're going to tout the numbers and things like that, and so forth. But they have no faith in the show. Yeah. It's dead on arrival. Season 2 is dead on arrival. So, yeah. We won't guarantee. But yeah, so there it is, folks. Nearly 4 hours talking about the finale episode for Season 1. Yeah, even he has limits, yeah. Well, let's put it this way, Halfwits. I will still be following news about it. I won't be covering as much because we'll have that reprieve. but I will be following news about it. So when news starts really coming out about season 2, I'll be covering it amongst other topics, but yeah, pretty much. But that is the end of season 1. And the last time I will officially be ranting about this season in entirety will be next Saturday. I was asked by Arkasul if I wanted to be part of a rant stream, and I said sure if it fits in my schedule. So I figured next Saturday, I will be it'll be on my channel, but I'll be joined by Arkasul, maybe one or two others, so forth, to rant about the entirety of the season, and that'll be the last time I officially talk about this season for at least a while. At least a fucking while. Just so I can rant about it with others and so forth. And then after that, I get back. I get my own reprieve. Fridays, I can go back to doing my solo live streams on my new live stream channel that I had to ignore this time because I couldn't do solo live streams on Friday and get reviews out for the episode because it took me longer than to watch each episode because I kept pausing to take notes. That's how bad it was. But next Saturday, around 4 p.m. Eastern, about the same time period, we'll be doing a rant stream for the entirety of season 1. All right? So there is the breakdown for the spoiler breakdown for the finale episode of Rings of Power. So thank you. Thank you for thinking it's a great stream. I do my best to go over this shit. I'll hang out at the dump until next season. Yeah. So, reach my limits for shit shows this year with ranks. Yeah, pretty much. A lot of people got screwed over. Tolkien fans, Halo fans, Star Trek fans, Doctor Who fans, and so forth. The only ones that at least remotely came out unscathed were Game of Thrones fans. But there it is. So next Saturday, look for the rant stream on my channel. I will tweet that out and so forth throughout the week once I have a clear idea of who will be joining and things like that. She-Hulk fans, Halloween fans, yeah. Mudcrab. It should be on Steph's channel. It should be on my Nerdy Homes channel. I don't know for sure if it'll be at 10 p.m. because they have a G&G meeting, so it could push it back. I don't know how long it'll push it back, but that's what I was told. But it will be on. It should be on my Nerdy Homes channel. She has not said anything otherwise. So, but there it is. This will be easily forgettable. No harm to Tolkien. That's like the one positive. Is that they messed with the wrong fandom. Right? Doctor Who heard him. Yeah. Yeah. All these. Yeah. But anyway. So what was I going to say? Oh yeah. So look for videos, so forth, on my channel. I'll be covering various topics, social commentary, things like that. Now that the season is over for Rings of Power, but I will still be following that news and covering what I feel is at least what I at least want to rant about or talk about or make any social commentary on in that regards. But tomorrow is Conan D&D, so no video. As far as I know, there's Conan D&D. I think I'm going to try to be live on my Twitch channel, Jade_Fire, playing some Evil Dead the game, getting back into that game because it's kind of like Halloween-ish, so forth. So I'm going to be playing that a bit. Probably about 7:30 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern time frame, thereabouts. So come check it out, hang out over there. I talk shit, shoot the shit, every topic in with the chat. If you want to bring up Rings of Power, I'll talk about it then. Others, pop culture news, I'll talk about it then. But I hang out with the chat. Mudcrab, don't make me hurt you. Don't make me hurt you. But I need to level up my character. But anyway. I do need to level up my character. before tomorrow, because she is a level 15, will be leveled up to level 16. So yeah. So thank you. Thank you for thinking I'm awesome. I try, but there it is. So if you like my content, feel free, up to you, to subscribe to my channel. I'll be adding more stuff to my live channel throughout the week now that I have a break from Rings of Power. And look for me on Twitch. I stream normally 7:30 p.m. Eastern time frames thereabouts. Generally Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, roughly, on Twitch. And then Wednesday we'll be back to Cringe Factory this week. I'm limiting Cringe Factory to once a month because I'm kind of tired of talking about cringe that often. So Cringe Factory will be once a month. Then the following week will be the top 10 horror killer slasher top 10 discussion with Steve Kenobi. So our top 10s in that category of killers, slashers, and so forth. Given the fact that it's around the Halloween time frame. And then in November, my plan is to do Cringe Factory the first Wednesday of the month, and then the following 2 Wednesdays talking about Alien and Aliens. So the Wednesday will be Alien, and the next Wednesday will be Aliens, and then the top 10 following that. So that is the plan. That is the tentative plan for live streams on Wednesdays. Pretty much. Because I want to limit Cringe Factory. I'm going to talk about some positive stuff, because all the shit that we have to deal with in pop culture, all the shit we have to deal with, I want to talk about fun stuff, positive stuff, maybe even bullshit stuff, but there it is, all right? So thank you all for hanging out with me. I'll see you all on my Nerdy Homes channel tonight around 10 p.m. Eastern or so, give or take. I will see you all at least tomorrow on Twitch. So have fun. Have a good rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you for hanging out with me in the chat. Thank you to the new members and everyone who is supporting my channel. And I will see you all next time. So peace out and fuck Rings of Power.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.